Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a
boy.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain. GM, thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't done so, do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below, then head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on the day space. We greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo, lets everyone know we're here, and does us a real solid. I just did my job and dropped my GM in the YouTube streets. We're live over there on YouTube, as well as Abstract. We're on Steve's account today, Steve's video feed on the X app, as well as the X Spaces. This audio, the audio spaces, that link, the bookmarks, the likes, it really does help warm up the room and does a tremendous help with discoverability. So if you haven't yet done so, scroll up top, smash the scroll all the way to the right there. You'll see the carousel, and then one in from the left is today's space. Greatly appreciate the love on that. As always, I'm Cap, joined by my co-host Steve. Never any financial advice in the show. Crypto is risky, NFTs are risky, meme coins exception risky. Go to zero to moments notice. Please don't put any money you can't afford to lose. Know that Steve and I hold tokens we'll talk about from time to time in the show, including Rect and Billy and Pingu, all the green ones on a red day today. We liked the rec paper yesterday, so we'll get into that. We got a lot to get into this morning, but Steve and I were having a cold open conversation pre-show, and he's like, "Dude, we can't spoil the good stuff." So I already swapped out the title there. A hot and sweaty cold open coming soon. GM Steve, how you doing, sir?
GM to everybody else. Appreciate the YouTube and video chatters. A ton of video chatters this morning. Thank you out there, Von Front and Machiavelli. Machiavelli is one of the just top absolute G's. Reposts, likes, retweets. Love that. Appreciate that. Von Front always showing up. The king has arrived. I don't know if Von Fronten's talking about himself or the fact that I'm back in the saddle, probably to me specifically, but
no, Von Frenten is officially our YouTube king. Like he until he's dethroned, I think everyone should actually just refer to him as King Von Frenten.
King Fronten, like that. The Dunk Cookie always out there. Mash Marathon Crypto in the house. No, and all joking aside, Von Frunten is one of the best. Not just a great friend, but really appreciate the support out there, and somebody I think who thinks a lot like us. So it's helpful to have those people, along with many other in our communities. Abstract chat out there this morning. Diablito, Teacher Katie, Dwayne, Von Frunten, of course, Jambert. Good seeing you out there again, Jambert.
Also, speaking of the king, sorry to interrupt. I just saw, kid you not, like real time right now. It happened 10 hours ago. I just happened to see the post. So actually, I just have to give King Von Frunten credit that he was correct yesterday. The punk floor actually did dip to 39 ETH or 99,000 US dollars. So if any punk holders out there are mad that your JPEG dropped below 100K, Von Frunten is apparently the shot caller. He had premonition yesterday morning. He knew they were going to be a little sell off and dip below 100K. So I don't know how you did it, but we checked him yesterday, said he was wrong, and in fact, he turned out being right, Steve.
Yep, there you go. No, he was correct. We were wrong. We were sitting there looking at it. We're like, it's currently over 100,000, but it was a little bit low there. Dobbins, appreciate you. Derek out there, Mel out here in the club as well.
I will say this: if they don't ever reclaim 100K again, it is absolutely his fault. Like that is the like I don't know if he's got some voodoo doll or something, but if he sent them below 100K yesterday and they never break 100K again, he's solely to blame.
King Von Frunten also has a good ring to it. Like it sounds very old school, like something you'd hear about a guy who, I don't know, for some reason it actually sounds like somebody who would start a war in the Ottoman Empire or something. I'm not sure. It doesn't sound great, but we'll give that perhaps. And there he goes. My reign is tricked by fear. That's exactly what a murderous dictatorous king would say. Dictatorous isn't a word, but appreciate that, and also appreciate your GM and everywhere, Von Frunten, even the space. But yeah, give us a like, a retweet, Dord, Beanie McFly, Clay, Brickadall, CZR, all of our good friends. Give us a like, a retweet, a comment on the room, Aspiring Nobody. It helps us out, helps us get things started. Cap and I are. We often get nerfed in the algorithm compared to some of the other people who just say that our content, not our content, but content in crypto Twitter period is sucky. So I like that there is a backlash going on though. I realize that people it's probably like cool to like now be in the backlash side of it. And so maybe I was early on that one because I think I was one of the early people calling out the content creators, calling out content creators by creating content. Like with, it was just a random tweet on my way home from Hilton Head the other day. But I saw Erica Lee. I like this one this morning. And then we got to get to our cold open topic here because it's a topic I think worth saying. But Erica Lee, I saw with this one where, it's kind of like, you hate InfoFi? Okay, let's go back. You hate celebrity meme coins? Okay, let's go back. You hate influencer boxing? Okay, let's go back. You hate pre-sales? Okay, let's go back. And it just goes on and on. Like, this is what...
In all seriousness, this is it. Like, you don't have to like everything here. It's easier to make money and actually have a good time here if you participate in whatever the meta of the day is, the meta of the week, the meta of the month. You don't like, I'm not saying chase everything, don't chase every shiny new object that comes and goes. But don't hate on people who are. Like, what the hell is the point? What are you doing on crypto Twitter if you're not going to at least pay attention to this stuff? It's the world we live in. Like, if you're just going to sit here and be angry and mad about everything that gets talked about, because I guarantee you there are some people who have said that exact thing. They just have been critics about every single one of those things and probably more beyond that. They hated NFT. Like they want to focus on what's wrong with everything, want to be ongoing critics. And sure, that's fine. But man, just go stack Bitcoin and enjoy life. Like you don't need to be miserable. If you're here and you don't enjoy this stuff, like go do something else because it's going to change. Like, that's the one certain here is there's going to be change. And what the meta is today is probably not going to be the meta a year from now. And it's probably going to be something that seems weird and odd at first. Like that's tech, that's crypto. Someone said something, there was a quote I actually saw recently. If everyone agrees with you at first and think your idea is great, it's probably not great. Like the ones where they think you're crazy and you're an idiot, that'll never work. Those are the ones that usually end up becoming world changing ideas. It's just, I don't know. And I'm not saying everything, like a lot of this shit will go to zero. A lot of this shit will fade. But if all you're going to do is take jabs at every new thing, inevitably, you're going to miss when the next big thing does hit. You're going to miss the Bored Ape Yacht Club mint. You're going to miss, and then the NFT run that followed. It's just like, I don't know why people get so, and it's not just crypto natives, it's everywhere. People like to be, they like to be critics. It's easy to point out what's broken or what's not working. It's hard to find the good in things sometimes.
Yeah, I think that this is one of those, yeah, I mean, it is certainly one of those like things where like, one thing I've learned about human beings in general that you said, you've always said it's easy to be a critic. Again, give us a like, retweet, comment on the room, by the way, so that we can get everything running here. But, I run into this a lot with people, where I realized at work, it's like people like to say that, like, people like to be, this person sucks, this thing sucks, I think this sucks, this is bad. And it's like, well, how would you do it differently? Like, one of the things I was really big on, like when I was in leadership roles at large companies, was like, if somebody who was a single contributor said something was crappy, I would almost do like, not exactly the Toyota method of like stop the delivery line. There's actually a really good, if people haven't read, I think it's not John Lasseter, it's Ed Catmull wrote a book called Creativity Inc. about the creation of Pixar. It's a good read, good listen if you listen to books. There's a Toyota method where anybody can stop the assembly line on the Toyota. It was one of the things that made them efficient at manufacturing, where everyone thought, oh my God, this is like I think in the 80s, maybe everyone was like, oh my God, like anybody can like pull on this thing and stop the assembly line. Like that's going to be so inefficient. It's going to be awful. But what it ended up doing was they had less errors. It made it more efficient and it made their processes better. And one of the things I would do when I was in leadership roles is like, if somebody was complaining, especially on an individual level. Now, first of all, when you're in a leadership position and you have people reporting to you and people reporting to them, I would always do meetings with the entire team, even if it was a 15-minute walking meeting, which some people thought those were bad, but a 15-minute walking meeting is an awesome way to make sure you're staying in touch with your employees. But one of the things I would say is like, look, if something's not great, what do you see and how would you do it better? The amount of improvement you can get from somebody who's a second-year employee at a company who's just an individual contributor is stunning. It's stunning how much they know and see because they're actually doing the job versus the managers who get removed from it. And so it's like when people complain, my answer is always like, how would you do it better? What would you do better? It's even when we were complaining about like the OpenSea rewards. My question is, how do we do it better? And the answer is like, hey, less frequency, less like redundancy. Like if they don't have more stuff to do, make it less like there are tons of things. But like my answer is always, how do you make it better? Or like, what would you do differently? Because I think that that's just a common loss thing. So agree with you. And I think with on X, it's like, I mean, you can check the records. The Pac Moon thing, I didn't participate in Pac Moon. My commentary was, I'm not participating. If I see people spamming, I'm muting them. But like overall, like there's actually some really funny content coming out of this. And I'm enjoying the creativity I'm seeing. Like, so it's just the only thing that's going to be certain is we're going to have continual change here in Web3. And like, you're going to find if you don't like this meta, don't worry, hang out and you'll see another one soon. I got
one quick one, because not only, Steve, is it the idea guys time to shine, and then we at least got a couple minutes of our cold open topic that we had a good cold open topic pre-open, then we steamrolled right, we cold opened our cold open topic.
It's like the opposite of normal. Like normally, like
cold open inception.
Like oftentimes we cold open a little long. And like this time, instead of cold opening long, we didn't even get to the topic we talked about before we started. Part of me thinks we should just skip it. And then see
I have to share this though, because it's not only the ideas time guide to shine, it is those with spelling errors. It's your time to shine. This is actually a great take. I think he's like, it's kind of a shitpost joke, but now when I type my tweets, I no longer bother to correct grammar and typos. This way I come across as more genuine and not written by AI. There's actually some merit in that, Steve.
I've spent the better part of the last 5 years since I created this Twitter account, like this particular one. So the better part of it, trying to not do typos because I have such a like affinity. My attention to detail is horrible. And now it's like, after I've worked on this thing for this long,
you plug in a typo in there now intentionally, just to come across as human.
It's like somebody who studies maps and then GPS comes out, it's like, yay. But no, I've been trying for the entire time. It doesn't matter. People are going to think that my reply, it's funny. I actually saw a tweet that went kind of like not viral, but it was pretty big this morning from somebody in crypto Twitter about Pump.fun. And I got to the end of it and it was most definitely AI generated. And like, I wasn't going to call him out on it, but the end of it asked with a question and ended with a line. Like AI is a certain way that they end certain like I can't explain it, but like they want to end with like this spicy banger, and they usually start with a question. There's like a certain type of it. It was about the Pump.fun presale, and I'm trying to remember how I saw it because I saw somebody talking about it, so maybe I could find it. But it's a telltale sign that there's definitely some I don't know. It's a telltale sign when there's AI being used. But Cap, I don't know. Let's save Solana talk for tomorrow, because I think we can save it because I think we're like 15 minutes in. We can always revisit it. We can cover anything we want, our show. But I do know that like we've had some pretty good ones, pretty good topics this morning as well. Maybe I'll even use some monosyllabic words so that people can go crazy and and think that I'm talking in AI. But yeah, I just think like the point that we made, and we'll get off this topic in general, but the point you made, like and when sharing that Erica one, it's like I just think people like want to complain about the current meta. What do people want? Because my favorite stuff is happening, right? Like my favorite stuff is starting to happen. We'll talk about it today, but like AVAX and Detroit Pistons found out they're working with the Cavs as well. I'm studying that. Saw the VFriends drop, which I think is a great example of what consumer crypto will eventually look like and how NFTs will actually be used with the blockchain. Nobody cares about that stuff. Like in this space, people want metas that make them quick money. Thread Guy had a tweet yesterday that's like, people just wanted you to tell them what to buy, like laughing or whatever. It's true. Like people just want you to tell them, which I didn't realize Thread Guy came up so big that many people have notifications on for him, that like he's got like insane amount of like responses that like he just puts a reply in and it gets like a ridiculous amount of views. So like that guy's just like I mean, he put like even like little tweets that aren't like, again, no offense, the guy's like, earned it or whatever, but it's like Bonk. He just put like something about Bonk's market cap and Pump.fun's market cap, 93,000 impressions. He has an insane run up going on right now. I'm trying to find the one he did yesterday, but he said something where he just said laughing emoji, like people just want you to tell them what to buy. And like, that's most of the timeline. It's like you can participate in your own little like corner pockets of it, but that's what people want in this space sometimes.
Yeah. Yes and no. Like, yeah, but not all. Like, it's not. Yes, people are here to make money. Absolutely. People want alpha. Absolutely. It's really much more than that. And I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of people that are sidelined on Bitcoin. I think there's a lot of people that lost money trading memes. And I sense there's just this, I really don't know. Like, because I honestly, I think most of the malcontent on the timeline, it's not from your average user. I think it's mostly from larger accounts, whether they've been getting Elon bucks, whether they've been getting, brand deals, or they're working with agencies. I think so much of that, those ad dollars have shifted to people are just mad. They're mad that something came along, the meta changed, and it took some of their easy money away. Like that's where, and because these people have large accounts, because they're influential, like half the people on the timeline are followers, not leaders. Half the people on the timeline are very easily influenced. And when people that they follow, people that they trust, people that helped them make money in the past, when they start fighting the current thing, it's just like, it's easy to see like people just start pouring on, even though that, and that's where I took the hard line, because I see some people who probably have benefited from InfoFi, could do really well at InfoFi. And even some that have started, they're now fudding it as well because they see accounts they look up to and respect fudding it. It's like, there's levels to this thing. And I'm not saying any of them are doing it with intent to take you out of the game, but some of them might be. I just, at the end of the day, like, life's too short to just complain all the time, to be a negative Nancy. I said in the abstract chat, I just, in life in general, I have near zero tolerance for negative people. And I just, it's not probably not the best analogy, but I was running sales teams, I used to say like negativity in a sales organization, it's like peeing in a river. It's like pouring toxins in a river. Everything downstream is going to get infected. Like if you pour a bunch of toxic waste in the Ohio River in Cincinnati, that toxic waste is going to find its way to Louisville and Evansville and everywhere downstream on the Ohio River. Negativity in a organization is the same way, whether it's a sales organization or it's, they have nothing to do with sales. If leadership is negative all the time and talking about what's wrong and what's broken, inevitably that's going to become the culture, and you're not going to get much shit done, except for people pointing fingers and talking about what's broken all the time instead of finding solutions. Like, I'm not claiming life's perfect. I'm not claiming I'm perfect. I'm not saying never raise concerns or never have an issue. But my thing with my teams always was, listen, if you're going to bring a problem to me, cool. I want to know about it. If something's broken, if something's not working, if I'm doing something wrong, let's say, like, I want to know about it. But if you're going to complain, if you're going to raise an issue, at least bring a potential solution with it. It may not be the solution we actually enact or roll out, but at least think critically, at least try to solve the thing you're so upset about before just wasting your time and energy complaining about something. And that's for me, that's a life philosophy. It has nothing to do with, it has everything to do with crypto Twitter, but that stuff was ingrained in me from, literally, if I give myself credit for, the businesses I built, it's I surrounded myself with really talented people, and I had literal tolerance for negativity. In fact, I can think of a very specific example, Steve, in your neck of the woods. I had a store in Austintown, Ohio. It was a former corporate store that we acquired. This is really dating myself. Verizon acquired Alltel, and there was like 4 corporate Alltel locations in Northeast Ohio. One of them was actually Steelyard Commons, but this one was out in Austintown, and I had another one in Poland, Ohio. Well, I took a former Verizon store manager, very talented. He knew what he was doing. The store was doing big numbers when we acquired it, and this guy was just always negative. It was always a problem, or couldn't do this because this. And I kid you not, this store, which was a top producer, just started going like this. And I knew he was a problem, but I kept giving him the benefit of the doubt because he was talented. He knew his stuff, but he was just negative all the time. And I finally made the call. We parted ways with him. And I kid you not, immediately, the very next month, with a very less experienced team, didn't have any of the credentials or results of this former manager, the store skyrocketed back up just because we removed the negative person from the situation. And it was at that point, I was driving back from Northeast Ohio all down to Southern Indiana at the time. And I was like, I drilled in my head over 7 hours. I'm not going to let some negative Nancy run my business. And not that he was running my business, but just by keeping him in the culture, it was infecting that store. It was infecting the neighboring store. And it's just like, I basically vowed to myself at that point, I'm going to have a zero tolerance policy towards negativity. If people that are on my payroll, I can't change people on crypto Twitter. I'm not paying their bills. So if you can FUD things and get Elon bucks and that's your thing, go do your thing. I'm not going to hate the player. I don't enjoy that game. But if someone was on my payroll, I wouldn't tolerate it, because it's not just themselves. It's not just my headache. It's everyone that has to interact with them. It creates such a crappy environment that people don't want to be a part of.
It's contagion.
Whether it's a store or it's crypto Twitter, it is a contagion. It is a virus. It is like pouring toxic waste in a river. It's impossible for it not to go downstream.
I stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution. And it's frustrating because even when trying to solve a problem, like, even people who are normally positive, like I've had conversations with friends of mine who are like going through it, and like and sometimes they just want to be heard and we just want to talk, and then I'm kind of presenting some solutions. And like, one of the things I try to explain to my kids, it is very easy if you're in a negative space to want to stay in that negative space. Like, you want to wallow instead of wanting to solve it, because there is the idea of like, smile, you'll feel better. What is the solution? What are we looking forward? And there's value to moping. I'm big on like, mope, feel the feeling, and then move forward. Like, I will feel the feeling, recognize why I'm feeling the feeling. Like, I've had crash out type things where I'm walking the dogs with Dawn. Like, how is this going to happen? What's going to happen? And then we get to the night and I'm like, all right, wake up tomorrow, get back to work. Nothing's going to solve this instead of better than 1 foot in front of the other. I run into, I have this conversation with my kids. I'm like, turn it around. Don't stay in the negative. But like, similar to you, like, I had a situation where I was managing someone and they had a really bad past manager. They really like working for me. And someone else in the department hired somebody who was super negative, really talented, but super negative. I saw my employee hanging out with them and they started going down a route. They started finding reasons to be cynical, reasons to complain. And I pulled her and I was like, look, that's not you. I would be careful. And I was like, I heard you talking trash about a certain person. I was like, that person was 3 cubicles over. How would you feel if they heard that? And they didn't feel good about it. And I was like, right, because it's not you and you're just falling into it. And it is a contagion and it does poison the well. So it's like one bad apple can spoil the bunch. And it's like, I just generally stay away from that stuff. If people have a disposition to be pessimistic, God bless. If that's how you approach the world, go for it. It's not me. I can't do it. And I have coached against it. In fact, I won't say where, but there was a leader at an organization I was at who was like very, very high level, very poisoning the well. Smartest, most talented person, one of the smartest, most talented people I've ever met in my life. When that person left, we did better in that department. Like, again, one of the most smart, talented, like you would talk to this person and they were like Mensa level genius. And that's how they got the job. And it was like, you must have this person poisoning the well, making things worse. Once they were gone, things were better. And it didn't matter who you replaced them with. It was, they just needed to go because they would find a reason to poison the well, dissension to their boss, dissension to the executive team, all these things. So I'm with you. I see Von Frunton here. I actually wanted to share those as well. I was going to say, I agree with this sentiment. He goes, for clarity, there are people beyond CT in Web3. I agree CT mainly wants to know what to buy, but there are many amazing things being built. Example, Pistons, which we'll talk about today in Web3. Let's platform that stuff. F1 campaign, crushing numbers on Abstract and ApeChain, made me zero money, cost me money, loved every second of it. Entering my everything the light touches era of my reign. That's from Von Frunton. I agree. I'm probably going to do some threads on this more and more because I know that people in CT may not care about it, and I need to do a better job of getting in the game on not just CT, but on on LinkedIn and places like that. But like, this is the stuff that I wrote a book about. This is the stuff that I speak at universities about. This is the stuff that like Starbucks was trying to do years ago. This is it. Like, this is the stuff. It's like loyalty programs, the VFriends thing, like I mentioned. I know that the VFriends thing isn't exciting and people might not like stickers. Forget about the stickers for a minute and think about the fact that like they used a multi-tiered token gated drop. Like this is what this space will be when most consumers are using it. Not meme coins, not InfoFi unless it changes, like, which I think InfoFi can change to be better. Speaking of which, you see Pons and Zeet got suspended.
Yeah. Seems like some coordinated attacks is what I'm reading between the lines here.
That's what's happening, right? Like,
I think so.
It's like people are reporting
because if there was like some API pulls or something that they actually violated, it would have just been the Zeet account. I can't imagine like Pon's personal account was connected to any API pulls or anything if they were trying to do backdoors. But yeah, it seems to be must be coordinated attacks, which is pretty shitty.
I saw somebody saying that they thought that maybe X is trying to get people to pay the extra money for like super premium accounts or whatever, like the $50,000 type thing or something like that. Like it's for like, because I know it's like business accounts or something or a certain amount, but then there's a next level business account, I guess, an enterprise account, and they're trying to pressure people into those. I just don't think that would be the case where they would say like, we're going to suspend you. And because if they were doing like mafia tactics, like people would talk about that. Like, even though they have reach here, like, it would leak if they were using mafia. So I don't think that's the case. I think you're right. Like, that was what I thought is like, someone's like, what's happening with these suspensions? Like, I think there's probably mass bot reporting and then they get suspended. It's like YouTube when Rogan interviewed, was it Trump when he interviewed him? I don't remember. Rogan interviewed something on YouTube, like a major interview on YouTube that like wasn't discoverable and got taken down because like people just coordinated attacks and complained about the video and acted like it was inappropriate. So YouTube, they're flooded, they take it down, but like it just wasn't serving because of that. So I do wonder if it's one of those situations.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope they get back on. It's just it's it's in line with like the negativity. Like, if you don't like what someone else is doing, don't support it. Like, but to go after people like this, it's like dirty, man. It's like corporate espionage in a sense. Rumblings too that it's another InfoFi platform going after them, but who knows? Also in the news, I saw Gio just post this. It says it's interesting. I don't really find it that interesting. The name, I was shocked. This Jack Dorsey. Did you see the Jack Dorsey app?
Yeah, it was called BitChat, but like it basically says bitch chat, bitch at.
Yeah, where like the memes were. I mean, it literally spells out bitch at. Like where my bitch at.
I don't understand it. It's a Bitcoin
chat.
Telegram.
Not even Bitcoin.
Chat.
It
was something to do with Bitcoin.
So for the brand who came up with Twitter, which still must have been a great brand because we still affectionately refer to this app as Twitter from time to time. To name something bitch at when it. Like, yeah, you can send Bitcoin, but it's not it's just using Bluetooth. Like, okay, I guess. Like you're.
What's the difference? I'm not even understanding the nuance here.
It's like if you don't have wireless service, you could send Bitcoin. Okay, if our world gets nuked and we don't have wireless service or Wi-Fi, I'm not like, I guess maybe Bluetooth saves the world and we can still transact. I just think if we hit that point, like we got much bigger problems than how we're going to send money. I think I don't know. Do we need an encrypted Bluetooth way to send money? It just seems like so. Maybe I'm not understanding it. Maybe you can send it from distance. When I first read it, it's like, okay, so if you're in the same room as me, I can send you money via Bluetooth. I'm never going to do that.
And then in 15 minutes, you'll have your Bitcoin. It's kind of strange. I saw Drew pop up, so maybe Drew can help clarify this for us. Drew, GM.
Yeah, GM. Yeah, I thought like, whenever you read these kind of things, the idea is fascinating. Now, the logicalness of actually people using this doesn't really make sense. It would mean that everyone would have to have Bluetooth on and an open Bluetooth. It'd have to be like Bluetooth broadcasters. So that way, if we're not in the same room, it still needs to connect via Bluetooth. And it would have to work in the same way where it's, I guess the people are, the similarity or what inspired him was, Bitcoin is a bunch of decentralized nodes all over the place, aka our miners, our devices, those kind of things. So it's the same kind of stuff, but the advantage is that Bluetooth, you can literally do offline. So in the event that, the zombie apocalypse happens, we can send Bluetooth messages to each other. But I don't know. He's definitely preparing for the doomsday. I think the idea of it is interesting. I definitely don't see the logical sense. But, within saying that, I sound like the people that were saying that about Bitcoin 15 years ago. So who knows?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I get it. The idea of it's interesting, but who's going to download? How are you going to onboard people now? Like when it's going to be useful is when people need it and they're not gonna be able to download it. Like it's just theoretically, sure, I guess I get the concept, but I would be shocked if this actually finds any sort of scalable product market fit.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's not like, it sounds like something like, so like occasionally you sit around with your boys and like, by the way, Jack Dorsey has done a ton of like, sounds like some psychedelic journey type things in the past from what I saw from him recently. And like, it sounds like something like a bunch of people are sitting around with their boys, they're hanging out, hits blunt. Wouldn't it be cool if, and it's like, comes up with this idea, but he's a billionaire, so he can do whatever he wants. So he's like, fuck it, BitChat, fuck it. Like, what was the other one? Didn't he do something like some other, like, didn't he do like, was it Blue Sky? What did he do? He did some other like Twitter competitor that didn't do any, it's like,
is he Blue Sky or is he like Megalodon or something?
He was
one of the others.
He's Satoshi, remember? That was the big rumor. I don't know. Like, and I'm not trying to knock him. Like, maybe it's a brilliant idea, or maybe he's like really prepared for the apocalypse and we're worried about like World War III taking it all. It just feels like Jack Dorsey since.
Oh, he did found Blue Sky. You're right. I was wrong. You're right. He did.
What happened? Is Blue Sky still a thing? Like,
please don't take this as not a political statement, but my read is Blue Sky became the home of the libs. Like during the last election season, everyone that I know that I follow on the podcast world that I know to be liberal, all of them started promoting their Blue Sky handle. It's the only people I ever heard talking about Blue Sky was diehard liberals during the election season. And then as soon as the election ended, like everyone just came back to Twitter.
Right. It's like True Social versus Blue Sky, like which echo chamber.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually it. Like exactly it. Yeah, you got Twitter. And then if you want to go MAGA, those people hang out on True Social. If you want to go, diehard liberal, those people hang out on Blue Sky. That's, again, not a political statement, but that's absolutely how I see both those platforms. One is very right leaning, one is very left leaning, and I like the X app.
Twitter hit a pretty I think was pretty right as well, but that's fine. Like it is what it is. You just know what you're getting into. But yeah, I mean, True Social is super right. It sounds like Blue Sky was right. Left.
Now it's become the home of the America Party. If you really want to go there, like if you've seen Grok recently, Grok is no longer MAGA Grok. Grok is no longer very right-leaning Grok. Like it is. It's also speaking in first person as if it was Elon. And sometimes I don't know if you've seen some of these. This is getting off the train tracks here, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure the owner of Twitter he's definitely not all the way right anymore.
Well, it's funny. Like there's and then we'll go to Fitzy here in a second and let him get us back on track. But I was watching our guy Chris Williamson, who we're a fan of, and there was an old clip that came up on my YouTube where he goes, Elon and Trump, there's no way this ends well. Like he basically said, there's no way Elon and Trump. He's like, those two egos. There's only one way this is going to end, right? Because like they're not going to give. And someone mentioned like this is the highest Elon can get in the United States government because he can't run for president, obviously, and he can't be elected president because he's not a natural born citizen. He's from South Africa, and so made the comment about it was just funny about like how like he's like, no, this ends, and then like later on he was like, that was my easiest prediction of all time. So not shocking to see where we ended up with Elon, but we'll be curious to see what his goal is here. I don't know if I don't know what his end goal is here on this one. It's just, it's very interesting, but I think him and Trump have similar motivations of wanting to be remembered and make an impact forever. And so they're going to do it however they can. But Fitzy, saw your hand fly up. Go ahead and get in here. GM Fitzy.
GM guys, how are we doing? Great conversation. As per usual. This bitch, I can't say it now without pronouncing it as BitChat. But yeah, this BitChat is actually it's quite interesting. I think like a lot of people saw it and thought, why would I want the ability? What's so innovative about the ability for me to go one-on-one to transfer Bitcoin or message somebody who's in the room with me or 30 meters or whatever the radius is for Bluetooth, right? And I fundamentally misunderstood it. I did a bit of reading around it and I was like, okay. So it's way cooler than that, obviously. It's like a communication swarm. And so one of the scenarios that I think this would be majorly useful for is festivals, right? We've all been to a festival. You're in the field. There is no way you're going to be able to communicate with anybody that you're with, right? Because you're using cellular or the internet, right? And so Bluetooth proximity there with all these kind of like this swarm of communication nodes that are all available, that you essentially just skip your message across these other devices to the person you want to get it to, right? And so that's a very specific example of where this would be useful, right? To send any level of data. Obviously, if you zoom out and map that out to the globe, then it could work. But I believe the blockers and barriers are things like having to have it all on and it's going to drain your battery and things like Drew was saying. But I think it is. It's not the first time this has existed. It's like this stuff is standard, right? Actually, when we think about peer-to-peer technologies and kind of like, I think they're called mesh. I think it's called mesh.
Yeah, mesh networks.
Right. And so like, it's really cool stuff. And I nerd out about this stuff now working with Trek as well, P2P apps. But like, it could be cool. It might not go anywhere, but it's certainly not unique. But I definitely think there are use cases. If you get Bitcoin in the mix, then that's cool. But here's the final thing that I learned when I went down the rabbit hole. And this, to some people, that they'll already know this, and I didn't know this. So it's kind of like I was today's year old when I realized that you can today send a Bitcoin transaction via the mail, right? You could literally start your part of a Bitcoin transaction with the PSBT, not broadcast it to the network, write down the hex, I think it would be. You would write down the data, write it down, get it on print it out, put it in an envelope, send it across the world to somebody else who would open that and then do the second part of the transaction. So the idea that we find new ways to communicate this information, to interact with Bitcoin, it's not new. because you can literally do it via paper, which blew my little mind this morning over my morning coffee. But yeah, I guess this is a whole rant to say that I think it's super cool. It's not absolutely unique, but I think there are some cool use cases for the stuff that Jack's talking about.
So you thanks for jumping up. I really appreciate it. You kind of enlightened me to a few things here. I may just have to send some Bitcoin via mail as well, just to say I did. But like you had me you piqued my interest at the idea of the festival, the swarm. Like absolutely, you get in football stadium and there's a million people around and you lose wire. Like okay, but I can on my phones I have it. I can tap to pay. Like I could literally just touch someone's phone. I guess. So I still struggle to do we really need this? Like what problem is it really solving?
I think what with anything that's peer-to-peer, right? There's things that we never realize, right? So the amount of centralized, and people in this room, we all love decentralization, right? The amount of centralized entities that have to get involved and have to be inserted in the middle, even with blockchain, would blow many people's minds, right? We think about blockchains as being, the synonym of decentralization, but the literal architecture of blockchains means they have to be heavily reliant on these external intermediary centralized parties, right? Just think about oracles, indexing, any sort of APIs, right? That's all external. When a dev builds their stack, they're using a lot of centralized things to do what the decentralized chain cannot do, right? And so if we map that over the conversation about BitChat, then I would imagine if we break that down, that in telecommunications, even with something like an internet-based protocol like WhatsApp, right, there will be centralized intermediaries that actually are not necessary. Clearly, the internet itself is not necessary for global communication. And if Jack did nothing else, then it's, for me personally, I've learned a lot in the last 4 hours, even just about the potential use cases, just to contextualize it in my own mind. So I'm not saying it's going to do amazing things, the actual product, but I think people like this. We see it with Vitalik and All Great Minds. They make us think, and that's the value for me.
I take everything I said back about the name, Steve. I actually love it. It's my favorite app name of all time now, especially when it's said by the English.
It's a great app name. Great app name. It's excuse me. It was funny because being in the middle of being dead serious as Fitzy's talking, I
think he meant to say it by the real name, but
all
I heard was BitChat.
I did literally say it. Phonetically, it's the same. It's just what you're thinking, guys. I could say BitChat or BitChat. What did you hear? Two different things. It was the same thing.
I just heard BitChat twice.
The rest of my life. BitChat does not exist. It will never enter my vernacular. It's just it will forever be known as BitChat.
Yeah, it's funny just because he was making a very serious point. And he's just for BitChat, and we just Cap and I just both start laughing because it's hard to say. So hey man, good for them, I guess. It's very it's got the people going, I guess. But
quick digression, Steve. Speaking of bitching, I often bitch about my AirPods and how battery life sucks. One of them goes out and starts getting staticky. I can listen to audio, but no one can hear me speak on them. And I complain about them often. My AirPod Pros that I realized today that I actually shouldn't be bitching because my team got them for me it was Christmas of 2020, I believe. So to get 5 years out of AirPods is pretty phenomenal. But I had to turn the camera off. I got a delivery. Happy new AirPod Pro 2 day for me. So tomorrow I want to actually try to see how's the audio. I'll do a quick test on the audio space to see if they've upped their audio. I is my held out for so long to finally pull the trigger. But yeah, the new Happy New AirPod Pro days. If anyone's looking, they're killer deal on Amazon right now. They're maybe $100 off. I'm assuming the threes are coming, rumored to be coming in with the September iPhone announcement. So usually start seeing clearance pricing when the next model's on the way.
What's amazing about Apple is how their strategy tends to work. I feel to your point, Apple front runs their new products by putting things on discounts versus new, like the way traditional marketing was done in the 90s, particularly was hey, the new product just came out. everything goes on discount. Like the new Xbox came out, now the Xbox on discount. The new, whatever, iPod, even, early in the 2000s, the new iPod comes out, this iPod goes. Like, that was sort of the traditional way of doing it. Now it's like they'll throw on discount and it's like a canary in the coal mine that the new thing's coming instead. And I actually like, it's fine with me because like the old products are perfectly fine. I need probably a new set of AirPods anyway. Like mine are, I have a pair that I've gotten like a ton of time out of that are waning when I use them and listen to them. They've now become like my running AirPods. Yeah, I'm good to flip them out. Drew, go ahead and get back in here. And then I know there's another topic I wanted to. Oh, yeah, we'll hit some other topics as we go around the horn. But Drew, go ahead and get back in here.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I was trying to figure out with this is, so, Kevin, when you're talking about, tap to pay, that's NFC. So it's different than Bluetooth. You have to be literally within a few centimeters for that to work. Whereas Bluetooth, I mean, typically I really don't see that going beyond 100 meters, but he said this would work up to 300 meters. So I'm really not understanding that there. Obviously, I'm assuming that there's no walls or anything in between either. And then, obviously I'm a security guy, so I really don't understand the security of how he's going to have that entrenched in that. But nonetheless, can definitely, there's plenty of use cases, and all it takes is one use case for something to gravitate in non-use case environments. But I don't know. I'd like to see it turn into something. I think it would push a technology barrier that hasn't been pushed yet.
We will, I'll be sending you some BitChat while I jump on Blue Sky, and we'll make that work with some Dorsey products. Jambert says afraid of buying AirPods. Always my thing with paying money for earbuds. They're good earbuds. It's a great product. And I'm careful with them.
Great. Like I spent 20 years in this consumer electronic world. I've tried hundreds of Bluetooth headsets. The Apple AirPods are the best that there is. They just work seamlessly. They connect to your phone, your laptop. However, Apple absolutely does planned obsolescence with these things. When I said mine getting a 5-year run, it's almost unheard of. The battery life in these things, they're really built to last about 18 months. So the downside is you're buying something that is a disposable product. You can't repair them. You can't replace the batteries. And it's a brilliant business model. Apple AirPods, that division alone generates more revenue than OpenAI. This is also like in my rant here. The more and more I think about it, I think this is what Sam and Johnny Ive are going to build. I think they're building next gen AirPods. I don't think it's going to be a pendant or glasses. I think they're going AirPods. Or they won't call them AirPods, obviously, but you know what I mean. They'll be smart, because what is being rumored in the next gen AirPods, it's insane. Like it's not it's health tracking stuff. Like I think the next form factor instead of the phone could very well be in our ears. They'll just get smaller and smaller. Eventually, fast forward 5 years, you probably won't even be able to see it. It'll be like the top of the line hearing aids on the market. It's going to do so. It'll basically do everything that your phone does today.
You think that the ultimate end game here would be like, well, because what's interesting is like, but my kids watch things and I watch things on my phone.
Well, so it's not the end state. I think it'll be next. I think eventually, it'll be something, glasses, contacts, or something that just projects the vision, like the Vision Pro, without having the stupid goggle thing on your head. But that's hard. That's like, we're not there yet tech wise. I think we're there with AirPods. Like we're very, very close to it being everything you do on your phone except the visual component. And with AI, that's a lot. Like you can I do think that the next piece of like world changing technology, maybe it's Apple. Maybe Apple beats them to the punch. But I'm a betting man, and I am. If there's a poly market on this, I would bet that the John, I can't remember the name of the company. What did they buy?
I don't remember.
Anyways, whatever they're building hardware wise, I think it's going to be in the year.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Then they would need to give me more than an hour for my $20 a month talk, because that part's annoying. I believe you get 1 hour of talk per day to ChatGPT, which it's actually stunning, to be honest, that we were looking for a place to eat on the way down to Hilton Head, and we use my wife's unpaid ChatGPT subscription, or unpaid ChatGPT, talk to it. It was dumb. We use my paid ChatGPT. It was smart. Like the difference in the answers and the quality we got, it was the first time, because I've heard a lot of people say, like, I don't know the difference in quality. I'm sure people have tested it and they've done articles on it or whatever. But like, I asked like we were asking questions and it was giving us stuff that like was behind us, wasn't very good. Like it was just whatever it was doing. I don't know how they've programmed it, but it wasn't good. And then we put mine in, we plugged mine in and talked to it, and we had a place in like 3 minutes. Which makes me also feel bad because sometimes I'm like explaining to my wife how to use ChatGPT, and I'm like, you need to give it all as much information as possible. Just talk to it like a human, blah, blah, blah. She probably is, and she's just getting less quality answers because it's not the paid model. We will just use mine for the paid model. But it needs, if they're going to put on an ear thing, they need to give me more than an hour, because there is something to be said about a convergence of like.
I wonder what the $200 a month plan is. Bunch, do you know?
Yeah, is it better or is it like more time or whatever? I mean, I'm not going to get that, but like I'm just so interested to see how I think AI is going to turn into potentially like the new streaming services where it's like you're just paying for every single one-off thing you want. Like people are so worried about AGI. I think you'll have your assistant that's kind of general. And then it's like, if you want to do video, you pay for this. If you want to do imagery, you pay for this. If you want to do marketing, you pay for this. And they're going to basically buy modules that plug into ChatGPT that you can pay as an upscale. Like I think that's how they ultimately scale, because, you know, if you're trying to do marketing, like Von Frunton talks about marketing, if you could pay $500 a month for a world-class marketing AI plugin, and you have a company and a small company, like that's a worthwhile expense. If you can pay for video services and they're really good, like the way that, like, you know, VO is expensive right now. I know it's going to come down or whatever. A lot of people say it's all coming down to being used. I think that they're going to have these different plugins. And if it's all in your ear and it's like your phone, it's like you talk to it, it does anything you want on any given day for you and makes your life easier. Like, but it's probably going to be like streaming services where you end up paying for plugins in the future. That's my goal. Like your health plugin, like you want to get your blood work read or your health, you know, your health done. Maybe your Apple Watch plugs into your ChatGPT. You pay for the module. It looks at it. It reads you. It gives you a regular update. You plug in what you eat. You tell, like, there's so many ways that this becomes convenient and actually good for you. Like, as an example, I have like 3 months till Vegas and 8Fest, and I'm going to try to probably lose like 10 to 15 pounds by then. I've gotten a little over my skis. Like June was bad for me. I was great up until June. I flipped the switch last year coming into the year. I was running. I was lifting. June happened. Traveled with my mom for some health things for her. NFT NYC, family vacation. Next thing you know, I'm completely off the wagon. I'm starting.
Real quick, I just need to get this out. I'm not seeking any sympathy, but for anyone that believes in good vibes, prayers, all that good stuff, my mother actually is having an appendectomy today. So appreciate any thoughts, sending good way. She was actually traveling back home and family, and she'd had some stomach issues and went into the ER the other night or yesterday morning, and like, yep, you've got appendicitis, and it's not acute, it's not ready to rupture or anything, but it's inflamed enough to where let's get it out. So yeah, everything will be good, but needless to say, that's where my head will be around noon today.
Yeah, good vibes, good sending love there. Just because like the older your parents get, it's like with my mom, it's like every time she has a medical thing, it's like I go with her, I pick her up, I drop her off, I do that stuff, but it's like she's in her 70s, you know. It's like each one, it's like my grandfather, and this is not like going to happen or whatever, my grandfather was getting a surgery in a hospital when he got, you know, a viral infection, and like the older you get, the worse and more risky those things get. Not that I'm putting that into the universe. All going to be good. Sending the good vibes and love. But like sometimes like my mom's had some minor procedures and things, and I get a little nervous. And I think even friends of mine are like, it's going to be fine. I don't know it's like, yeah, it seems standard, but like it's a, you know, it's a elderly person going into a procedure. Like there is a big, a lot of stuff that can happen. So
call your parents, tell them you love them. If they're still with you, be grateful and give them a call today.
Yeah. Or your friends for that matter. Yeah. I'm very big. People I'm occasion with talk about how much I enjoyed them and what I like about them, what I admire about them. Because like, look, I had a friend at Progressive for years, and you know, I think about his inside jokes all the time, and I just never reached out, whatever, like talked to him sparingly after I left, but like was a buddy, caught up with him a couple times. First call I got a couple years after I talked to him last was he was in a coma and he was going to die. And it was like, and he passed away. And I was like, man, what I would give to just drop that inside. There's a specific inside joke that we laugh our ass off anytime we talk about, what I would give to laugh with him one more time. And it's like, I could have just texted him at any given time. Like you just never know when you're going to get that call or that text. So it's a big, I'm big on say the thing you're feeling in the moment, tell people you love them, and yeah, send them the good vibes. But yeah, I think there's a world where we have in our ear an ear pod. We have a device that we're holding, and any given thing we want. I'll give an example. I mentioned that the health thing that I was doing while I was on vacation when I fell off in June. I'm going to be tracking some macros because I don't have to crash diet if I have 3 months. If I want to lose 10 to 15 pounds in 3 months, I don't have to crash diet. I can actually eat Chipotle and ice cream and all the things as long as I get my macros proper. I've done it before. You know how much easier it is if I just tell ChatGPT exactly what I'm eating in my ear? If I just have an AirPod in all the time, I can be like, hey, I'm having 2 chicken breasts, this vegetable juice, and I'm going to eat, these chips specifically. It's like, cool, this is what you got left for the day. I'm typing it in, I'm doing it that way, but it's like the ability to just have it's funny, of all people, Frank Degaz was on our show like 2 years ago and mentioned that he has ChatGPT as one of the bottom 4 in his phone and talks to it. And like, he just talks into it voice to text and gets those answers. I don't know if people realize how much dictation is not only improved, but is quicker, more efficient, and easier than it is to type. It sounds so lazy in retrospect with everything we have computers, but it is more convenient. It's like, I voice to text, and it's getting better. Cap's seen my voice to text make absolutely no sense before, and I've texted him, and he's like, I can't even decipher this one. Like, he's usually pretty good at deciphering it. Voice to text, voice to ChatGPT, voice to Google, all of it. It's like, if I'm going to type more than 3 or 4 sentences, I still like doing long form writing for whatever reason, although my co-author Scott will often, he like dictates and talks. Like, he has a dictating program. It's more efficient. It's better. It's better for your time. Like, I don't think people realize how great it is and how much more time it saves. So when you talk about an ear device, an in-ear device, I'm actually kind of would be shocked. I didn't think about this till you said it this morning. I would be shocked if over the next like couple of years, we don't see a complete flight to some sort of like voice to text type products, because it is just like voice to text or voice to voice or whatever it is, like answering. It's like, I'm like, again, this is my recommendation to anybody out there. If you have ChatGPT, even if you don't have the $20 a month one, if you have the free one, next time you're in your car for a drive that's more than 10 minutes, plug it in and just talk to it. Have it tell you some history, talk to it about something you're working on, ask it about a problem you're having, talk to it about what's going on in your life. It is remarkably good, and you literally turn on the little voice mode, not the microphone, but the actual voice mode. You talk to it, it talks back. It's something, man. It is very, very good. And it is Jambert's saying doctors and nursing assistants in exam rooms now docs just talk and AI will dictate into the EMR. It's a great example. Like, imagine if like you walk, if they're like, tell us what's wrong with you, and you talk to a voice chat, and you don't have to talk to the doctor you can get in because they already have everything and they have some thoughts and some bullets. Like, it can make things more efficient and faster. It is a game changing. Wow. Von Frunten's going with a soothing British gentleman who makes him feel better about his life. I like that. I just have I actually have a nondescript voice on mine. I don't know. I didn't know you could change the voice. I asked it if it was a male or a female. It said it was intentional, so you had to interpret it for yourself. I asked it what it thought it was. It asked what I thought it was. I said, I want to know what you think it is. And eventually it said, like, probably female, but can go either way. I was like, all right, good for you. So, but yeah, so it's good stuff. So 10 out of 10 recommend giving that a try. But I think that could be a big one. Other news, though, I don't know. Look, we can talk about the Pump.fun thing. I'm fine with that if we want to go that direction.
Yeah, we got to hit on it. It's big news. Like, it is big news. And while it's not new per se, like, we did get details, which they've since pulled down. But if you missed it, Gate, where the pre-sale is going to take place, they like basically had the landing pad went visible yesterday. I'll after I hit it back to you, I'll see if I can go find a screenshot. 600 million, I think, is the amount that they're going to sell, which with the tokens, it would put it at a FDV, fully diluted valuation of $4 billion. So here's like here's what I'm seeing, like the sentiment I'm seeing. There's a lot of people saying, okay, this is to not only meme coins, but also Solana as what the other side meant was to NFTs and ETH. A lot of people calling the top on Solana and the Solana meme ecosystem.
Didn't people say that about the Trump coin already? Like, I feel like people just want to make the other side joke about like saying other side killed NFTs, which by the way, it didn't. But either way,
didn't kill them, but you can't deny the liquidity suck.
Oh, it took liquidity, but like it was like people act like that was the big moment. It's like I literally have it charted, and we were well into the decline when that happened.
Yeah,
but
no, for sure, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Anyway, I think it might have been like
I wasn't trying to take you off the.
No, I think it was just like the final straw of the cycle, right? Like, yes, absolutely in decline well before the other side mint. The other side mint was kind of like the last hurrah, and then things quickly unraveled following that. But
in that case, actually, it's probably a better comparison than I was giving it credit for. Now that you say so, because to your point, if people are saying like it was sort of like the final nail in the coffin, like that's probably a better like analogy for what other side mint was than that. And so it would be like, anyway, keep going.
Well, I think that, I mean, I think they'll sell out. I think it probably cooks in the short term. 4 billion seems like a lot. It's really not for the amount of revenue that they've generated. Here's the thing though. They're trending the wrong direction, and that's real. Like there's enough people that are going to gamble on this thing, but the timing wise, like I think it would be very different had it hit in April when they were the only game in town for all intents and purposes. Now they've essentially lost the lead to Bonk. Now does it stay? Who knows? The other speculation. Okay, let's say they do this. They bring in another 600 million. So they're assuming they haven't spent everything they've raised, they've made already. Like they're going to be flush with over $1 billion in cash. Rumors are they're going to launch their own chain, and then that applies pressure back on. Well, does Bonk launch their own chain? Do they stay on Solana? So I think there's this concern of memes in the ecosystem today. People sitting on bags that they're going to rotate out so they can get in the Pump.fun sale, just like people did with other side men. And then post Pump.fun, then what? I think that's kind of what ball drops next after this sale. I mean, there's two scenarios. Well, three. One, it just chops and trades it, somewhere between $3.5 to $5 million, and it is what it is. The other scenario is it melts faces and rips 10x to 40 million, which is like what Hyperliquid's at today. So that's like, I saw like Udi was saying like, how are people saying that Hyperliquid is too low at 40 billion and Pump.fun is too expensive at 4 billion? He's like, how do you justify 10x the price? Well, it's a far better business in my opinion, and they're buying back a lot of token. Like I think there's more of moat in perps than there is in meme coin launch pads. Acknowledging all the funky mechanics with MEV bots and everything that can happen behind the scenes on Pump.fun. Excluding that, I think Hyperliquid, I think they have a very clear future. Will they see other competitors? Sure. I just think that Pump.fun has already hit their Pico top. Like I don't ever see them going back to capturing 100% market share in the meme coin launchpad, and I also don't see memes being launched at the clip they were in Q1 of this year. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying it's not going to be a going concern, a viable business. They're sitting on a ton of cash, and they're going to bring in a ton more cash, so they can do about whatever they want. I just, from their core business standpoint, they've already topped out. And so when you're talking about raises, it's hard for me to get my head around. It's just like fundamentally, the timing doesn't seem like, where do they go from here? And I don't think it's up as far as like their business and the revenue they're generating. That said, the token price is not based on fundamentals. The token price is not equity in the company. Like there's also a lot of people with big incentives for the token to do well, from Solana VCs to Pump.fun VCs and a lot of people in between. So I do not think Pump.fun TGE will be an extinction event. No, I think it's going to send ripple effects throughout the space, pre-launch and post-launch. And like, there's ways you can play. You can trade the sale. You can get in the pre-sale and attempt to sell, for more than you buy in. You can also look for spots. If there's something you're a big fan of, you're long on, you have a lot of conviction in, you can look to buy the dips. It's not everything's going to sell off, but I tell you what, if the three I mentioned this morning that were up in a red day, if Rect, Billy, Pingu, if they see like a 50% sell off, I'm not going to full port into any of them, but I'll make moves. Like, I'm more excited to take advantage of like what I feel might be an opportunistic market, as it's not just liquidity will be sucked out for this TGE. It's liquidity, it's attention, it's focus, and how long does that last, right? Like, I mean, I guess in theory, the liquidity is gone once the sale, but let's say they launch on the 15th, like, the token's going to be around, but are people like, is Pump.fun still going to have the attention by July 25th? And
do you think they're there? I mean,
I don't know if it's going to be like the attention suck that it's going to be leading up to pre-TG and TG day.
What can they do with a token sale on a launch pad that would get people really excited and not make the token run down? Because, like, I mean, is it like you stake it and you get a portion of every single drop that comes out on Pump.fun?
Yeah, I think there's some really cool stuff they could do. Staking, you get a small amount of tokens anytime there's some graduates. If there's tiers. I mean, the real big answer though would be fee share. If they do a rev share, it could get silly. I don't think they're going to do that. But if they were to do you stake, I don't know, 1 million Pump.fun, we're going to 50% of a revenue we generate is going to go back into the community. That would, I mean, because it's a real, they have found product market fit. They're generating real revenue. I don't know how far they're going to push that. They may not do any of that, but if they do, they have the ability to, to keep not just keep the thing afloat. There's some levers they can pull that I think really could send the thing.
Yeah, like I think ultimately, like, a lot of their levers will turn in potentially to a dog chasing its tail, and I say that in the sense of, like, early on, I agree. They have a ton of revenue. Assume they could share that because they have a bunch of money. Like let's just say the most extreme scenario. Stakers get some graduated tokens and some revenue share. So people take those and either A, they come off the platform, or B, they invest in continuously, buy more tokens. There's a point where that cycle runs up and it becomes one of those sort of bubble cycles where it's like, oh my God, it's working. Okay, now it's slightly less profitable. Okay, it's not as profitable anymore. Okay, now the Pump.fun token's going down. But I think for a period of time, to your point, like, the reason why I say this is, like, I agree. Like, it is product market fit in crypto. It's going to continue working at the moment. But, like, there is this almost like blur or blast like cycle that could happen with this thing where you're getting a little bit of each graduating token and you sell those and those go down. Okay, that's working. You're getting a pair of the revenue. That revenue is going back into you buying or selling tokens, or you take it off the platform. But, like, there comes a point where it's like, okay, if the token's coming down and I'm getting less than I'm getting for staking it, like, but I think that has a longer tail and they have time to get creative between now and then. But I agree, like, the mechanics would be really interesting, where they could at least keep people engaged with the token for a long period of time. And they have more unique levers to pull than I think a lot of other tokens early on. And that's the part that gets me excited, is like, and
this is actually what I'm rooting for. Like, I'm not a Pump.fun enjoyer. I want to see them deploy some of these mechanics. If they do, that could be the next meta that kicks off. Like, we talked about this idea of revenue share and fee share, and I still don't know how they get around it without it being a security in the States, but I'm not going to ask questions. I'm not the one selling this stuff. It's just exciting to me. Like, that's part of the idea of building with a community and building in public and bringing your early supporters along, is they could participate in the upside, whether it's percentage of fees, some, you can't call it dividends or profit share, but there's ways this can be done. Or, you could go the brand coin route. That's the other thing we should probably at least hit on, fly over the rect paper. But I'm not a Pump.fun enjoyer. I've been beating the drum for months now that I'm expecting someone to come in and capture some of their market share. Didn't think it would be round 2 from Bonk, but here we are. That said, I really am rooting for it to go well, and I'm hoping they do something that's not just like, if it's just a token sale and then you can stake to get, 5% APY and get more pump tokens, I'll be very bearish, and I think it will just be a quick bleed out. But if they do some of these, financial mechanics that could lead to some upside, even if it's off of speculation to begin, if there is that sort of component, because they make so much freaking money, I could see it really creating quite the pandemonium in the space.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with it. Like, I'm not, like you said, like I'm not participating probably in any way, shape, or form.
Oh,
but
I'm gonna get in the pre-sale.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch from the sideline. I'm almost certainly not participating. But I just
let's talk through this. Like, what do you think is I guess the downside is they don't even sell the tokens. I don't think that's likely. I think they'll sell out pretty quickly. Do you think there's a chance they don't even raise the 600 million?
I don't think they'll raise.
What do you think's the downside of the token price 24 hours after TG?
I mean, they're selling at 4 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and FTD. Also, by the way, Opportunist, I think it was in the chat, commented that Hyperliquid is only at 12.8. Unlocked market cap, yes, it's about a $12 million market cap. Their fully diluted value, though, is pushing 40 billion.
Yeah. I think like it's tricky when something is raising that large, right? Because I get the logic and what people are saying and the comps they're trying to make. And I know that there's enough money of people who are probably going to want to pump this thing. So it's probably going to work because we've seen this playbook before in smaller, places. My worry would be it opens up at $2 billion, which is awesome. That is a mega open. And you've lost half your money because it was raised at 4 billion, right? Like that's my worry, is that like
I don't think that's possible though. I mean, it's possible, yes. I'm not to front run a market update here, but just like look at for it to open at 2 is a look at these that are that like.
Yeah, but
you're telling me that Pump.fun is not worth as much as BitTensor or Aptos or Near Protocol or Internet Computer. Like Ethereum Classic's $2.5 billion. Like I just, it's got way too much motion, way too much. Like look at the fees that revenue. Look at the revenue that the Pump.fun is generating compared to Uniswap, and Uniswap's at a 4.8 billion. Baguette token this must be what Jack Dorsey launched before BitChat. 5 billion. Like it's just like. It just makes way too much money relative to these other coins that are already valued at more than $4 billion.
What's the what's
like? I don't even know what some of these are. Unis SEDLEO is an $8 billion market cap.
What's like AVAX, for example? Is that like
7.6? Yep.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, I mean, you're asking like what the worry is and what the upside is. It's like it launches, it lands out at 2 billion, and that's the worry, right? And like I see what you're saying.
So then I'm if that's really the downside, 2 billion. So I've got 50% of the downside risk. I put in $1,000. My worst case, I come out with 500. I think the upside is it could run up to about Hyperliquid. I think that's kind of like, because Hyperliquid has been the golden airdrop of the cycle, the shiny toy. It's like, you want to talk about product market fit and generating real revenue in a real business. I think that Hyperliquid is kind of like the target. Like, okay, it's their timelines are similar. Their age in business is similar. The revenue generation is not too far off. And so I think like that is like maybe the ceiling. Like best case scenarios, it runs up to Hyperliquid, at a 40 billion, and worst case is 2 billion. I see that as plus EV. Yeah, I'm not saying it runs to 40 billion, by the way. I'm just saying, like, I think that's kind of like the target, at least like where I could see people building a narrative around. Like, I think you're absolutely going to see people comparing Pump.fun to Hyperliquid in terms of their valuations. And if it gets halfway there, if it only gets halfway to what Hyperliquid's valued as its fully diluted value, then you're talking to 5x.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's also possible that like I've been hurt by enough pre-sales or enough things that obviously I know this is different for a variety of reasons. Like this is a big player. This is the main character of last part of the cycle before they hit like a sort of a standstill stop. And so it's entirely possible that I'm just hurt by every single sale lately, that everything has seemingly come in under or has crashed out kind of hard. Even the airdrops, it's like I made the right move selling most of them, but like, there's been a lot of airdrops I've calculated and I've been wrong on. And so I do wonder if like I'm PTSDing from some of the stuff that I've seen recently. And this is obviously should be looked at independently. And like what you're saying is all completely logical and completely fair from a look at this independently, not based on everything else. Maybe I'm just nervous about the market. Maybe I'm just nervous about the fact that, I don't know. Like the thing is, the Pump.fun playbook for people is like, you pump it up until you get to a point and then everybody all of a sudden hits the escape velocity and you hope to time the top. If that happens in a microcosm here, like, or sort of if that plays itself out in the same sort of, heuristic here, then I guess that we would see this thing go from 4 billion to 10 billion and then crash or whatever. So I worry because the actual culture of pump, maybe let me put it this way. If I was saying the highest risk would be you want to get out sooner than later. And maybe you're right. So there's one risk of it opening in like half, right? And to your point, the upside risk versus reward you're thinking about. The other side would be it will run, but you need to make sure that you're ready to hit the exits because the culture of Pump.fun is that thing is going to dump once it gets to a certain point unless they have really, really solid reason not to. So maybe it's more so, yeah, the pre-sale is worth getting in, but if you see that thing 2x, take out your initials and play with the rest. Like that might be it. If it comes out, or even if it comes out at 6 billion, take out your $1,000 that you put in, sit there with your 500 and see if it 10x's from there or see if it goes to 0. Maybe that's the move. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. And so I don't know exactly how I'm going to play it yet, but that's what I need to decide between now and then is how, like, I'm going to play it. I just need to decide how hard I'm going to play it. And if I go hard, then my exit plan will be much more conservative than if I just throw, $1,000 at it, I probably just let it ride. But if I make some moves to actually, whether it's rotating or allocate something that I wasn't planning onto it, then I will be looking to get out my initials ASAP because I don't think it lasts forever. I'm not bullish on the future Pump.fun. I am not bullish on them launching their own chain if that's what they do. This is going to be very interesting though to see how this plays out. Like from I'm intrigued by a business builder, by someone who appreciates the game of business, and this is a hyper competitive space with a lot, literally billions of dollars on the line here, and these decisions that Pump and Bonk make over the next 3 to 6 months, billions of dollars on the line.
Yeah, it's a look. I mean, it's a
like there's a world where Pump.fun doesn't exist in 5 years, right? Or they exist, but it's like a dead chain and no one uses their launchpad anymore. There's also a world where they continue to print hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Like, I think both of those outcomes, while they may sound somewhat extreme, I think both are in the range of outcomes. I think both are realistic, and I really wouldn't be surprised to see either one play out. I'm thinking I think they'll bleed out a little bit and they'll eventually settle at a point where they keep 20, 30, maybe 50% market share in the launchpad space. But I also foresee meme coin launchpad revenue generation tailing off over time due to more competition, more options to launch tokens, and I see less people playing that game. But I'm not the trench or the one that is really well versed or spent a lot of time there to really speak intelligent about it. I just, from the highest level, I think it's gonna be fun to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Agree. I think one last question on this, and we can go to maybe daily market update, and then we'll get into some other stuff. Do you think now, on the flip side of that, do you think you're going to have a challenge getting into that pre-sale? Or do you think it's going to be like doable? Do you think it's going to be doable for anybody who wants to, even like the guppies like us?
It's so much. Like yeah, I don't. I know. Maybe if they've got like it's attacked with bots and whales, I'm not worried. If I guess I'll say this, like, no, I'm not worried at all, because if I don't get in it, fine, I'll move on. Like, it's not like I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I'll and if I free up some liquidity to fire at it, and I don't get in, then I'll fire that into Rect or Billy or Pingu or Ape or one of these others that I'm long on.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, it's just it's like but you're yeah. I get the logic. I think this is a situation where
I'm not a fan of Pump.fun. I think their business model is flawed. I think there's a lot more that meets the eye that most people don't understand how they make money and how they get these runners. All that to be said, I hunt EV, and this I think even at a $4 billion presale, I think it's got potentially a lot of upside, and I think the downside is limited in the short term.
Yeah, and I was like, and I think like there is something to be said about me not liking Pump.fun, but it's honestly less about that, and it's more to me about, I think that I've probably been hurt by enough pre-sales / airdrops that I'm probably conflating those with like something different, and I need to step back and look at it more independently, I guess, and kind of on this particular one. Let's do this. Let's do daily market update. And then there's a couple other things to talk about. I want to talk about some real world stuff. I want to talk about there's Doodles and Twix or something. I don't know, so we can hit on that. But yeah, let's do this. Let's hit daily market update, and then we'll go from there.
The daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on 8chain, we bring in the heat. NFTs, Feds Alpha never miss a beat. 8chain on top, now we bring in the flex. The home of NFTs, these now what's next. Come on, my head time, but you want the time to chop for one time.
It is time for the daily market update powered by ApeCoin, the home of NFTs. ApeChain has it all, bringing culture, fun, and community to the blockchain. Dive in and see why ApeChain is on top cap.
Yes, sir. We're going to start with NFTs today, and I'm guessing at a first glance, this must mean that the OpenSea farms are back. DX terminal leading the way with 26,000 sales, volume 124 ETH, up 11% of the day, 0.00432. That looks like about $5 to me on my back of the envelope math. So must be an OpenSea Voyage live. I don't know what these are. That's definitely not it. What's going on here? Anyone help me out? I don't. Both of these show volume, sales, and they appear to be Doodles, but they're clearly not Doodles. Sorry for the delay here. Just trying to figure out what this is. No idea what this is. Don't buy. It's clearly not the Doodles collection. They're showing new. So it's likely bought, wash traded volume. Maybe we're back. It's been a while since we saw fake collections popping on the daily market update. Autoglyphs. There was a sale yesterday, 75 ETH. Sounds like a lot, but first time I can remember an autoglyph selling for under 100 ETH. There was also some talk on the timeline this past week. Is generative art dead? And a few deep dives on that. I'll go grab a pretty good thread. I think it was maybe Cosmo that started it, and then the answers, the comments. Someone probably could have wrote a pretty good book about generative art. A lot of good takes, and some concerns in the generative art streets. But I'll come back to that. Azuki down 6% of the day to 1.72 following their recent event in LA. Pudgy's down 2% on the day to 9.24. Milady's down 12% on the day to something's off. They're not 0.89. What is going on here? Yeah, 1.89. So I don't know what's going on. There's one maybe listed is showing at 0.89. If it is, someone go get a free ETH, because the actual floor is 1.89. Top offer is even 2 ETH already. So maybe it's a Minify glitch day. I don't know. These are some oddities. I can't explain it just by first glance. After I hand it back to Steven a bit, I'll see if I can do some deeper digging to get some answers. Apes down 1.8% to 10.39. The mutants are up 1% actually to 1.67. And Project Aeon, this is the NFT collection tied to SPX 6900. It's down 13% on the day as well with 38 ETH of volume. The Circle continues to shine in the TradFi markets, up 8% pre-trading. We'll scroll down here to memes. Doge up 1%, Sheeb up 1%, Pepe up 1%, Bonk, Trump, and SPX all down 1%. However, I mentioned our favorites. We had Billy up 3%, Rect up 3%, and Pingu up 1%. And then last but not least, looking at our majors, ETH leading the way up 1% to 25.75, Bitcoin 108.730, XRP 230, it's up 1%, Solana flat at 151, despite the FUD and sell-off concerns. I mean, people, I know Kook is a notorious shit poster, but if you go check his, he literally calling for the death of Solana here. He's one that is thinking that it's Pump.fun raise is followed by Pump.fun chain, and that's followed by Bonk chain, and what does that leave Solana with if they're not trading memes there? Doge, I say that's a hyperbole. I know Solana's not dying. I'm just sharing what I'm reading on the timeline. Doge up 1%, Cardano up 1% to 58 cents, and that's our daily market update brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top. Steve, there's a lot of rumblings around the spotlight. I'm not at liberty to share anything today, although I heard, I think Cam was on a space last night talking about some stuff. I think there is some grumbling, some noise that Spotlight Season 2 coming soon. And from what I hear, I think it's I think I'm excited for what I'm trying to connect some dots. I really don't have any actual insight yet, but maybe we share something this week. If not next week, for sure. Excited to. I know we teased a new campaign kicking off this week. Probably going to kick things off next week, but stay tuned. We might have some more news here. Not to be vague or cryptic, just being respectful of NDAs and all that. But yeah, ApeChain on top, Steve.
Yeah, exciting for them to kick off Spotlight. I saw Cam's thing about, trying to highlight the best stuff on ApeChain. Love seeing that. So that excites me for sure. Yeah, man, it's I actually think that take from Kook is interesting. I missed that. I saw people getting mad about him somewhere, but it does. So I feel like there's a lot of VC money and a lot of money invested, and it's an American company and Solana being successful. But it's not necessarily the best chain to scale dApps for the general public. We're seeing AVAX working with a lot of those right now. Is Solana in trouble and Solana's it's inflationary. It's never really been about fundamentals anyway, but I don't know. I'm not sure I feel good about my Solana bag. I might actually unstake, not based on this, but haven't felt great about Solana in general lately. It was sort of one of my majors I was stacking for a while. I think there's still things that can happen on Solana, but I may move myself out of Solana if they would have to have their own launch pad, or they'd have to have a deal with one of these meme coiners, right? Meme coin launch pads, which is hilarious. It's sort of like the creating your own demise thing, because if Pump and Bonk launch a chain and it is not on Solana and they have their own chain that is not Solana, they encouraged and really pushed meme coins as a new community building tool, as a new way to do things with your friends and all these things, and buy and sell together as a new social network. They would have effectively sort of hired their own executioner if these things end up leading their demise, because they pushed it hard. So I don't know.
I've got Kook post. I'll show one after this. Just pulled up for those listening and don't have the video in front. Crazy warning signs flashing throughout the Solana community. There's zero doubt Solana maxis are the new ETH maxis. I cannot imagine developing an emotional attachment to a blockchain. The writing is on the wall now. We know where Sol is headed. Don't say I didn't warn you. That was following this one where he said Pump.fun will launch a chain, ape the token sale, buy dips, sell into the chain launch announcement. Then Bonk will be faced with a choice: do your own chain too, or stay on Solana and keep afloat. If Solana loses both token launch pads, it's over. Why would you own Sol? this is just one very one-sided take. Again, Kook is a shit poster. He's also, I think, done pretty well trading, and you got to take the good with the bad and read it all with a grain of salt. But I think there's some merit to the. I think there's some merit to the take. Like, not saying it's going to happen for sure, but I'll ask you the question: if Pump launches their own chain, if then that inspires Bonk to launch their own chain, Solana's been the degen casino. If the casino moves to other chains, it's not great.
People are literally streaming on Pump.fun. So it's like if the streamers who are streaming on Pump.fun are not launching on Sol anymore, it becomes a concerning bag. I don't know. I don't know if there's enough big money invested in it for it to not do well. But I mean, look, I'm largely allocated out of Solana for the most part. I guess I have a little bag of Sol. I'm looking at my thing right now, but not a huge one.
I did share, because I did share, I've just been, this cycle has been stacking Sol, stacking Bitcoin, staying just cozy in spot ETH, where I'm not stacking, not selling. I have shifted I'm still stacking Bitcoin, but where I was stacking Solana, I've shifted that bucket into alts like Rect, Billy, Pingu, Ape, Partcoin, and Hype. Those are my 6. And instead of Solana, I've shifted that Solana bucket to those 6.
This is a completely random, dumb question. And maybe someone
advice. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a trader. I just bet on people I like and support my friends. That's all.
Yeah. Same. If you're sitting in Bitcoin, obviously it's the ultimate thing. You're sitting in Bitcoin, you have that custody. At the same time, if you want to contribute to your IRA outside of the capital gains you get from selling your Bitcoin if you bought it at a lower price, is there any reason to not, if you want to put more Bitcoin in your IRA, is there any reason not to just sell that amount of Bitcoin and just directly buy it into a Bitcoin ETF in your IRA? Like if you have Bitcoin anyway and you're doing it anyway and you're sitting anyway on some Bitcoin, outside of it being less liquid until you're older, I had this thought the other day. I wouldn't sell Bitcoin and throw it into stocks for my IRA, but outside of the capital gains you would get selling it, which is obviously a big detractor, why wouldn't you just take $7,000 of Bitcoin if you have it socked away somewhere and put it towards your 401k, and then you get the same asset, but you've contributed to a tax deferred account for the year? See what I'm saying?
I mean, we're certainly bordering on financial advice here. But again, reminder, Steve and I are not financial advisors. I think if you're long Bitcoin that you're not selling and you're accustomed to maxing out your IRA, you could do it with IBIT, or look at something like Alto IRA. If you want to do more than just Bitcoin, if you want to do a crypto IRA, I don't have a ref link. I'm not paid. It's not a sponsored thing, but Alto is one that's been around for a while that allows you to do that. And I think that's probably sage advice. If you're not going to, again, you're locking it up. So maybe it's not all, right? You can take a portion, right? Max out your Roth every year if you can, or backdoor.
Yeah, that's what I do.
We should probably have someone, because I think at some point it would be good to have a panel of investing crypto via traditional routes, things like a Roth IRA. And you're like, well, I make too much, I can't do a Roth. Well, you can backdoor a Roth. I bet there's a lot of people who just think they can't do a Roth IRA because of their income. And there's still ways to do it. You just gotta know how to do it. And I think maybe that's a good panel one day, is we have a buckets panel, right? A buckets conversation where I a few years ago, I don't think it would resonate because people are they're not in the mindset. Now I feel like a lot more people are in the mindset of they want their own Bitcoin strategic reserve, right? They want to stack a Bitcoin that they don't want to sell. And if you're going to do that, recommended. But if you're going to do that, then you should also probably be looking at what's the most tax advantageous ways to do so.
Yeah, well, and also just even the things actually, so this is not financial advice, but it was funny. When I was in a successful career in a large company, I was considering shifting careers to financial advising because I liked it so much and I wanted to help people, because I didn't get good financial advice. My parents weren't financially literate towards the stock market. They were never good about it. And I didn't learn about it till I was like in my 30s. And so it's funny to give an example. I have a Roth IRA from when I was working a traditional job. I go traditional IRA now because I want to get the money off our taxes. So like, even though I know I'll be paying it in the future when I take the money out, I did Roth for years. And now for the past couple of years, I've been doing traditional specifically related to taking $7,000. Because the difference between Roth and traditional is Roth, let's say you get income and you put money in a Roth IRA, that income still counts against your taxes, meaning like you don't get any money off, but like then you don't pay any money in the future. It's post-tax money. Traditional,
which means, I think is a great vehicle for Bitcoin. If you believe Bitcoin's going to $1 million, do you want to pay tax on the capital gains, or would you rather to be able to take that out tax?
No, you wouldn't pay tax on the capital gains. You pay tax on it as income. So like the capital gains won't hurt you with Bitcoin when it appreciates. The money you'll pay on it will be based on, let's say that you're pulling $100,000 a year in that tax bracket. That's the money. You don't pay capital gains on an IRA ever.
If you're just buying Bitcoin and if you buy Bitcoin for $100,000 a day and you sell it in the future for $1 million, you're paying tax on those capital gains. If you just buy
right.
Yeah.
But if you put it in your IRA, that does, it just appreciates in a tax-free zone. So it's funny, but like my traditional IRA plan is like you put $7,000 and it's like a 401k. It's pre-tax, meaning every dollar you put into your traditional IRA comes off your taxes. Like you put $7,000, you max it out, that money comes off your taxes. I've been doing that because being an entrepreneur, it's like when you get paid by like a consultancy and they give you $10,000, that's really like $6,000. It's like you have your taxes, you have your you have all these different expenses you need to pay at the end of the year. You need to pay your, a quarterly tax bill, all that good stuff. So for me personally, like that's why like I use the traditional IRAs, take that off at the end of the year. And all the tax loss harvesting sneaky tricks. But yeah, man, I don't know. We can punt the traditional good stuff till tomorrow. I do want to get your take on this. And I'm not trying to be a futter because I know some people are getting, I think, like there was a discussion actually, today about like, being negative versus positive about certain companies and things. I have to share this though. So Doodles and Snickers, Snickerdoodle with Twix. It's like, so Snickerdoodle is a flavor some people like. It looks like in August 2nd, there's going to be a new Twix Snickerdoodle launch flavor, or like they're bringing it back and they're doing it in collaboration with the Doodles. Cool. It looks like August 2nd. I saw Snickerdoodle share this. Twix is releasing new Snickerdoodle flavor. Looks like that's what this is about. Couple things on this, and again, I'm going to come across as a big negative Nelly, but I'm just going to be honest with how I'm feeling. It feels like the Doodles have just lost motion. Like, number one, I get it, but it doesn't have the same oomph to me. First of all, like they said, this is maybe their biggest partnership yet, or as big as it's come. They said they did McDonald's, they did Crocs, they did G-Shock. Like those also had these products tied to them that were specifically Doodle branded. They had entire campaigns around them. This wasn't even announced on any official Doodles channels I've seen. It looks like maybe they reshared some stuff. I don't know how it works with DreamNet. I feel like the floor didn't move. Like, obviously, I think they've just kind of lost motion.
You don't think DreamNet Twix is this?
Yeah, did you see that yesterday? Like, because people say DreamNet fixes this because we're not sure what DreamNet is. Like, DreamNet Twix is this. Again, I don't get it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't get it. I actually kind of got, it was very, like, I don't know if anyone saw it. It wasn't like it didn't get a lot of impressions. Someone else tagged us over the weekend asking questions, basically / concerns regarding Doodles and wanted our thoughts. I ignored it the first time. They tagged me again and kind of let it out there. And, I say it like I like everyone on the team. I have nothing bad to say about anyone on the team. I just don't know. And they asked the question. I say, yeah, I do think that Julian is missed. Like a year ago, I felt very clear about what I thought, anyways, about the vision of Doodles and where they're heading and the brand they were building. And I don't anymore. I'm not saying that
I need to know. I'm just saying, like, from my personal journey and my perception, having followed him since Mint, it's I just like I don't even get, like, I heard you tell me everything that's going on Twix. I still like I don't get it. Like what is the collaboration?
Well, like,
what is
and
it?
like,
I hate to say this, but I am, because others are thinking it. What does it do for me as a holder? Am I gonna get a free Twix bar? Am I gonna have the right to buy a $99 case of Twix? Like, I
also
and I think part of it is the hype. Like, this is the biggest partnership ever, and what? No, it's not. Like, just do things. You don't, like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of like, I'm checking myself because I love the brand. I really like the team. I just don't know. And I'm not going to be a complainer. Like, I also don't have the solution. I don't know what to say, like, where to go from here, other than, like, maybe ship DreamNet. Like, I just don't. I hope I'm really wrong, and I hope it's an amazing platform and everyone floods in to use it. I just don't see it. From what I know, it's not clicking with me yet.
Me either. By the way, I don't know if we're breaking up because of the StreamYard stuff, but I was breaking up there for a second. Might have been on my end. I think my internet, I need to get new internet, by the way. Like, I think they just introduced higher speed internet in my area that I got to get, because, like, I have not been thrilled with my internet lately. Yeah, I don't get it. It's like, the other thing about it, like, when they launched Rubik's Cube, Crocs, G-Shock, the Toronto International Film Festival, McDonald's, all these things they launched under the Julian era, there was always a campaign around them. There was communications, there was a campaign, there was a tiered, coordination with the partner. So, like, we heard that they were teasing a big announcement. I didn't see anything about it. I didn't see anything, I don't think, in Discord. I didn't see anything on their X. I saw the, I saw, like, that people were sharing things from, like, Twix and Snickers channels or something. I just, it does, and like, why? Like, because before, to your point about what we're getting as a holder, people might have said, like, the corpo extractive era was, oh my God, we're selling packs. I get it. Like, some people weren't a fan of that mechanism, or they weren't sure what they were getting. They did a good job rewarding those with the airdrop. They actually included those really well. They gave, even including thoughtful tokenomics around their, thoughtful tokenomics around everything with their, rare wearables, things like that. The part that I just have trouble tracking here is, like, what is the campaign and why? Just because it's Doodle and Doodle? Like, they were on millions of McDonald's cups, Times Square billboard, launch packs with wearables, fun wearables that the product team put out there. And so, like, since Julian's left, we've had, a side swipe at Julian when he left. We've had DreamNet get announced 6 months later. I think a lot of people still aren't sure what it is. It's not meant to be like FUD. It's just, people aren't explaining it, so there aren't really great explainers out there. We had Lord of the Files, which I didn't participate in, but I didn't hear great feedback on. We had a TGE that was, if we're being honest, like, price-wise was underwhelming. Like, a lot of people had the worst-case scenario TGE at 150 to 200.
Really poor launch. It was just really poor launch, period.
The
like,
tokenomics were great. The launch was bad.
A very bad launch. Yeah. Like, there was nothing with it. Like, you don't drop a token without any, like, and this is where I say, like, maybe it's not Julian. I think, like, there's a lot of great people on the team. My understanding is Bert Toast is the CEO, is leading the company, and he's an amazing artist. I feel that they're lacking a experienced business leader with strong business acumen, connections, experience. I'm not saying that there's a lot of people on the team that have great business acumen. It feels like there's just an overall, like, lack of direction. Maybe I don't even know what I'm struggling to put my thumb on it. But the other thing too I thought of when I mentioned this over the weekend, I also wonder if, because it wasn't Julian, right? Like, their breadwinner, Golden Wolf, also a founder-led business. Ingy is no longer there. Like, he also left, and I wonder if that's had an impact on Golden Wolf and what they're doing, and downstream, is that impacting Doodles? Like, I don't know, but yeah, the token was just, they should have either had DreamNet ready to go or waited to launch the token. I think it's that simple. Because because now you can only do that once. Like they've lost that momentum, and it's like now you've got to basically fight to recapture some sort of momentum or attention to go into DreamNet. And like, does this Twix thing have anything to do with Dude or DreamNet? I don't know. I don't think so. But to your point, I don't know much about it, and it just seems very, I don't know. What's their true north? I guess I don't know. I hate to go back there. I'm not trying to pull a Cairo playbook here, but like, I just scanned their timelines. Like, okay, here's the Twix announcement, which is an announcement of announcement, I guess. And so I'll give them a pass. Like, they've not announced it yet, so okay, I'll bite my tongue. Like, I don't know what meds is. I don't. It's an EP release with private afterwards event on July 17th, featuring a set by TYM. I have no idea what this is. No, like it's a launch party of a LP that like is Nothing is Imaginary is a Doodles song, I guess. I really I'm just confused. And before that was their July 4th animation. Cool. That's I know they're doing this. I haven't seen them all, but this podcast series they're doing now, which I can I guess like think and stretch to connect some dots, like how this could play into what they're building with DreamNet. So again, I'm gonna hold my opinions until we see DreamNet and how this stuff comes together. But like, this is a great guest, right? We love the Klanos team. I mean, 16,000 views is okay, I guess, from a account with 500,000 people. I just don't. It seems like they've got a lot of projects, and I don't know the plan. Like they could. There's all these little projects, these collaboration stuff. It's just like before when they were doing this stuff, I felt like it was heading towards a goal, a centralized mission. They probably still are. I just, as not an outsider, as a holder, community member that's not active, that's not in the weeds, I'm really struggling to connect the dots now.
That's what it is. Like, and again, it's not like I think sometimes stuff gets perceived as FUD if you're kind of have an opinion, or it's like
I'm trying to come up with some solutions or what I would suggest them doing, because since I don't want to be the negative Nancy that's not at least suggesting a solution. So my suggestion, if anyone's listening in, it'd just be like, peel back the curtain a little bit more. Like, give us something on DreamNet that's not a big white paper. Like, you got incredible animators. Like, I don't know. Maybe I've just missed the communications. I feel lost. I feel lost.
That's what it is. Is like, I feel like at this time last year, we were coming off the Rubik's Cube collaboration where they gave away a diamond encrusted Rubik's Cube worth like 6 figures.
We were talking about at that point how like pack rips and having a chase item. Like, that made sense. Like, that worked. Like, I guess they thought it was extractive, but other people have basically used that playbook to success. Like, people here like that. Like, that was working. Like, it didn't have to be for everyone, but they were selling out the packs. Like, I don't want to go buy Twix, but if you're telling me I could go buy some packs and maybe I get a golden Twix bar that's worth $100,000, I'll buy a fucking pack.
Yeah, it was
excuse my language.
Physicals and posters and like all those things. And so it was like last year we were coming off, we're like, all right, they've done Crocs. What's up?
I don't want a golden Twix bar. Please don't do that. That was like a joke. I don't want to. I mean, I if I could instant swap it for $100,000, I would probably still buy the pack. But
the other thing about it, though, to your point, though, like let me extrapolate on that. The other reason those collabs made sense is, besides McDonald's, which you have to do McDonald's. It was awesome, but take McDonald's out of the equation. Crocs, rabid collector base who like goes and buys high-end Crocs. G-Shock, rabid collector base that goes and buys high-end G-Shocks in middle and everything in the road. Like, the G-Shock is like the watch collector's like rugged watch, right? Rubik's Cube. Learn there was an entire community around that. Like, the bobbleheads, they made sense because, like, I have them behind me. It's like, it's a collector item for your own collectors. Twix, to my knowledge, isn't like some big collector base. And that's what I guess your point about the disconnected part is, like, to your point about the solutions, like, you have a world-class animation studio, explain DreamNet in plain English in multiple ways. Have a long-form writer, have space on it, like, talk about what DreamNet's going to be. why does the dude token exist? Like, do that. Like, talk about that. Like, I struggle with like seeing the connective tissue. And like to your point about like the podcast series, Austin, I think Austin's good. I like Austin's, like, he's inquisitive, he's smart, he's incredibly heady and intellectual in how he goes about things. Like, he's like one of those like if you watch like really intellectual, thoughtful podcast people, like Austin thinks like that. Like, he'll ask a question that I'm like, damn, that's a good question. But like your head of biz dev is spending like however many hours a week on podcasts, and like you're trying to figure it out, and you're like, he's really good at this, but like, where does it tie in back to the company? And what does that mean? And it's like, so I have a podcast, I have a dude token, I have Think Dream Net coming, Lord of the Files kind of happened. I don't know if that's still going. It's like a Twix collab. Like, I can't put it all together and make sense of it. And I'm not trying to like FUD. It's just, it's like, it feels like there was like this connective tissue where it's like they went from partnerships, Patrick, blockchain, loyalty, building a system alongside collector brands to sort of this sort of, almost, I said they went from like one of the most stable, like if you had asked us at this time last year, in 5 years, what brands will 1000% exist, we would have been like, well, Doodles for sure. And I just think now they're like very chaotic, and I can't pin it. So it's like, I only asked this because someone tagged us in it, by the way. I wasn't trying to like come and, choose violence this morning on this one. Like, I like, like you said, I think the team is an awesome group of people. I think the art's awesome. I liked, they were in the Toronto International Film Festival less than a year ago.
Joey, we'll get to you in a second. In the abstract chat, someone said NFTs are dying. NFTs are not dying. I've never been more convicted that NFTs are here to stay, and they're going to be the tech is going to underlie a lot of things as world moves forward. What is dying though is NFTs. NFTs are dying. PFP NFTs that run on vibes and art only are dying. And Jambert replied, like, easy there, got some GVC love. And I was like, that actually proves my point further. Good Vibes Toast has a very successful business with Toast. The reality is, at the end of the day, businesses have to generate revenue and profits to stay in business, or they just got to keep raising funds. And anyone who raised at the 2021 peak mania, they're not raising again unless they're going to take a down round. And it's a significantly down round from the Pico top for many reasons. It's not the fault of the company. It's just like those that raised it, congratulations. You got a giant bag that was inflated due to the mania. Awesome. You can cut your costs. You can extend your runway a little bit by reducing your burn, et cetera, et cetera. But sooner or later, depending on how big that raise was, depending on how big the burn is, they've got to generate business. They have to generate real revenues. And in some cases, it might be selling sticker packs. It was just, I don't know what it was, 300 grand or something they made on selling stickers on Telegram. Awesome. Congratulations. Toast, I called it the parent company of Good Vibes Club. It probably isn't proper, but the founders of Good Vibes Club, or the founders of Toast, they have a very successful, proven, profitable business. Tyler and Chris, I believe, could run Good Vibes Club and create a thriving community that they continue to do stuff. They show up at events. There's things there.
And they're those type of guys, by the way. Like, they want a community around them as they grow. Like, they want to win alongside
that as long as they want to continue to run Toast, right? Like, I don't know what they're doing, but presumably, just like using them as an example, like, they could have near zero overhead. If they don't have to pull their own salaries out because they're paid, their bills are paid by what their Toast division, and maybe they have some mods and stuff, but like, they could run a really lean business off vibes and art and community for decades because they have a very successful, presumably profitable business. You can't do this forever if you're not bringing in money sooner or later. And Doodles has done this. I don't know, man. I think it's more of they're doing things like they just raised money on selling the stickers. They got a collaboration with Twix. I should hold my opinions until we see what it is. It's kind of like Pump.fun heading, they hit their top, they're heading the wrong direction. It's mostly not even frustration. It's just like curiosity. Like I guess maybe some concern, but it's not like concern. Like it's not like, oh my God, my bags are down. I couldn't even tell you what the Doodles floor price is today. I'm sorry, Crocs. I said I'd list it like a month ago and I just haven't. Because I'm not like rushing to leave the community. I want to support the team. I just don't know what I'm supporting anymore.
That's it. And like, can I throw out before we go to Joey, can I throw out like a crazy take that I had? I actually want to watch back and see if I can see the moment where I got it, like where this thought came to me. Because as you were talking, let me get your take on this. A lot of people made a comment about Good Vibes Club being like, 3D Doodles, something like that. In actuality, they would never say this. I'm not trying to make things PvP. Are Chris and Ty the biggest risk factor to Doodles because their Toast Animation Studio did the OpenSea video?
Yeah.
They have other partners in Web3.
I didn't even think about it. You nailed it. They came in.
Exists outside of it. They exist outside of it. But within Web3, and they also exist outside of it. They did the Facebook video. They did the Google video. They did Facebook Messenger's launch video. Are they a major risk factor to be like,
Yes,
we do
100%.
this too?
Yep, that's it. I didn't even unpack it until you just said it. Who do you think would have done the OpenSea video if Good Vibes Club hadn't come into the space? If Toast,
it would have been Golden Wolf, 1,000%, right?
Who was doing all the Web3 trail? That's. I didn't even think about it, but you're right. I'm sure that
didn't they do the Azuki trailer?
The much bigger competitive threat to Doodles is not the Good Vibes Club collection. It's the threat that Toast presents to Golden Wolf. Not that Golden Wolf's probably going to be fine. They have big clients as well. They've both been very successful. But when you're talking about our niche corner of the internet, forget floor prices. They just, at minimum, at best, they're taking market share from Golden Wolf here. And I think more so than the revenue, it's the relationship market share. It's OpenSea talking about Good Vibes Club. It's OpenSea promoting Good Vibes Club instead of talking about Doodles and Golden Wolf and promoting. It's like it's client, it's revenue, but it's also organic marketing. And they're maybe not forever, but yeah, as of late, it appears that they've lost some of that market share to Toast.
Yeah, it didn't hit me until you were talking, and then I had this little thought where I was like, wait a minute. If Toast is doing...
Chris and Tyler probably hate us for making this PvP with them and Doodles.
I know. They're
not their MO, I don't feel.
The opposite of them.
Yeah, they're exact opposite. Like, truly, like, they're probably going to reach out to Doodles like, hey, can we help, guys? Like, we heard Chris and Steve I'm kidding. But, like, this is not... Like, my read is this is not like them at all. But they're doing a great job. And talking through it, either... God, I shouldn't say this out loud. Either Doodles is overpriced or Good Vibes Club is underpriced.
I mean, they flipped them at one point. But, like, I don't think it's necessarily the same thing at all. Because, like, Good Vibes Club is a whole different thing. It's just... I don't... Diablo just says Good Vibes Teams hates the Doodles. I don't think so. I think maybe that's a joke he's making in the chat. Just because they did put Hap prominently in their video. They know the names of the mascot. I think they love those guys. Like, I think they genuinely like everybody in the space. Like, I haven't found... I think, like, man, you just got Chris and Ty. I feel simpatico with them. They are giant golden retrievers of human beings. They like everybody, man. But I just had that thought where I was like, man, like, is there some market share, at least in Web3, being taken away? And by the way, like, it's not like Toast is a Web3 shop. Like I said, like, go to the Toast website. Like, again, I believe we showed it on the show. I believe it's the Facebook Messenger launch. They did the video for. Like, they do great work. So,
here's the other thing. They do great work. They're a team of successful entrepreneurs, business operators, very talented artists, and very talented business operators. They're a good team. At the top, at the founder level, there's only one half of that team at Doodles. That's a big deal. And please, if anyone on that team is listening, I think highly of all of you on the Doodles team. Everyone I've interacted with, I have nothing but good things to say about them. You can have amazing team. It like leadership in the top and direction. Like it's I'm really at a loss for words. I think that like that, just looking there, like you've got one has a great artist on the founder team that's still engaged. The other has a great artist and a business builder at the founder level that's still engaged. And I think it's a big difference.
Yeah. We lost Joey. Darren, I was going to say, must have been 10 o'clock gym time or something. Sorry about that, Joey Vels. Yeah, it's they're really good people. I don't think they have any issue with each other or whatever. It's just it's again, we're bringing this up because the Twix things in the timeline.
It's entirely fabricated by Steve and I. There's no beef between Doodles and Good Vibes Club. We are just
nobody. I mean, Diablito is the real culprit here because he said it in the chat, and I was like, I don't think that's the case at all. Like, I don't think it's the case at all. Like, I think they all like each other, just like the Klanos team. I think all of those teams building IP, like, there's something to be said about being in the trenches together and understanding what it's like, because it is hard what Doodles are doing. It is hard what Good Vibes Club are doing. It is hard what Klanos are doing. You are trying to build in an industry which was previously pushed away by the government, creating new primitives, doing new things. It is hard. These founders all support and have a network because nobody knows what it's like to be in those shoes. Like, when I talk to other people who do content creators and shows, like, nobody knows what that's like. But
this is pretty good, though. Diablito does. He got a zinger in the chat. It made me laugh. He says, toast, greater sign, burnt toast.
Yeah, it just...
Unburnt toast is better than burnt toast. I mean, I think it's largely accepted fact.
And it's not like, but it's not supposed to be like FUD or anything like that. Like, to your point, it's like, this is really hard. And it's like, we weren't trying to go this direction this morning, but like, I got tagged like 3 times. I got tagged over the weekend in something, like the same thing Cap got tagged in. I kind of sat that one out. I got tagged in the...
I can see you shaking your head when you read my response. Like, God damn it, Cap.
No, I mean,
should you read my response?
Look, we say the stuff live. I'll put it on the timeline. Maybe I'll put something out there. Like, when it's not going to sell for what I want it to sell for, but my Doodle's listed now. Like, for the first time in 4 years or something, like, my Doodle is listed. It's not going to sell. I may weeth it because, like, I'm kind of like through and I don't see it getting more valuable. I kept waiting for a big partnership at some point. Yes. It's wacky that I bought my Doodle for 1.15 shortly after launch above floor, and I'm probably going to tax loss harvest it a few years later. Like, I'm going to lose money on the sale, almost certainly. It's crazy to me, like, because they shut up at one point, but like, it's hard. Theses change, things change, teams change. I want them to swing it around. Like, they have people like Alexis Ohanian and other like really awesome people on their board and involved. It sounds like Pharrell still is there for one reason or another. We thought, like, let me put it there. It sounds like Pharrell's still there doing something, because like I was in the impression maybe Pharrell and Julian were a package deal. Doesn't sound like that's the case. So I don't know, man. It's just the reason I say this, I'm just sad, man. Like, I like you said, you're not like whatever, you're not emotional about it. It's like, this is one of the brands that I felt emotionally connected to. And it's just like the past like 6-7 months, it's crazy what can happen when you just don't feel direction. Doesn't make sense. Like, even when they weren't communicating, I felt more emotionally connected to them. And then they came out and didn't have a real good reason for it, but then they started talking about stuff behind the scenes, and I don't know. We got tagged in this stuff. We're talking about it. We don't talk about it unless there's news. Hopefully there's newer announcements and things coming in. It's just, I don't know what to say. In a world where I see like Klanosaurs making some really cool moves and like, doing these soulbound tokens, moving towards a game, clear direction, IP animation studio, all these things. And in a world where I see VFriends doing awesome gated drops. Somebody, by the way, made like, I don't remember what the number was. They were in my DMs. I think somebody made like $1,000 off the stickers already. They sold their pre-sale allocation to somebody for like $120 or something per allocation, or maybe they only sold one or something. I don't know if they sold all of them. But like
stickers.
Yeah, I might get the boxes and sell them on eBay, honestly, if there's demand. I'm not sure, but I may take a shot at swing at it. But like, I guess like I'm just like looking at this and I'm like, I see the direction of a lot of these companies. Like, say what you want about Bored Ape Yacht Club, whether you think Ape Chain, all these other things are working or not. Like, they've got Ape Chain and they've got a other side, which is going to launch with some experiences. They're trying to create new primitives for video games. I just think some of the brands are feeling a little more lost, and I just don't know. I just don't know anymore. And so this is just one that makes me kind of sad, but it's crazy. Like, there's a good chance in the next couple of weeks I sell my Doodle for a loss when I bought it 4 years ago for 1.15, which sounds insane to think like what it was even like 6 months ago. And yeah, it's a bummer, like below 1 and seeing where they're at. And it's not just the price action. It's like just directionally wanting to be part of something. So I don't know. We'll see. I know it's kind of a sad note to end it on. I do want to talk some real world stuff tomorrow potentially, but yeah.
I do have a few other just quick hitters. Before I hit the 2 quick hitters, I'm scanning here, trying to find I pinned it up top. If anyone wants to see it, maybe I'll just leave it there and not read it out loud. But God, Twitter search is so bad, Steve. So I guess while I'm trying to, here it is. Got it. Don't hate me. Don't hold it against me. Someone asked me my opinion twice, and I shared it the second time. Just Mr. C, last summer created a song called Hit After Hit. Doodles seemed organized. Now I don't feel the same. What's the plan? He asks. And after a couple times, my response was, respectfully, I do believe Julian is very much missed. The team is great. I like all I've met, but I have no idea what the direction is anymore. Compared to a year ago, I felt more confident in the direction than almost any NFT native brand. My read is no chance Julian returns. That was the other thing. Could we bring Julian back? I don't think there's any chance he returns after being unceremoniously exited and has since secured a better gig. I do think a polished leader with biz acumen, experience, and connections could help. No one talks about it, but I wonder if the Ingy departure has had a similar impact on Golden Wolf. This was before I even connected the dots with Good Vibes Club taking some of that Web3 market share. Sorry, Doodles. I feel bad, Steve. Like I like you. Like I care. This isn't fun. I don't care about the price. I mean, I do care about my asset values, but I don't. Like it really has no bearing on my feelings today. Actually, if the floor was higher, I probably would be selling it into a WETH bid. So like the price is not driving this. Shifting gears though, before we let everyone out of here, 2 other things to highlight that hit the news. One of them is Yarm. Did you see this?
I don't know what you're talking about. Nope.
All right. You'll either be talking about it or you'll be muting the word soon. It is the next Kaido maybe backed. Like here, I do have actually some candid feedback and a suggestion for the Kaido team. No more unofficial endorsements. They have a couple times now, they have like a project will put in their bio, like powered by Kaido. And then the Kaido team follows the account. The Kaido team starts retweeting stuff. And like, if it goes well, they may claim it as official partnership. If it doesn't go well, they're like, oh no, they were just using our tool. I pinned this up top if anyone wants to dive deeper, because it's my posts on this stuff get nerfed. But anyways, I say it's the next InfoFi project that many of you either post about or going to complain about and mute. There's levels to this InfoFi thing and multiple ways to create. I gave a few examples. I said Vo, ones you can entertain, you can shit post, you can talk about not talking about it. I said Vo is might be the best in the game at this. She's crushing it. Like not just her Twitter payouts and her Kaido stuff. Like the post like, can you all please get cooler names for InfoFi platforms? I cannot be seen saying Yarm after saying Yapio, Laudio, and Yeet for the last month. And she's right. It's a bad name, and I agree with her. But this is also a way for her. She's going to index. She's going to get points. She's going to get Twitter bucks, and she's going to rank on the Yarm leaderboard now because of a good. It's like there's good ways to engagement farm, and there's like really low effort ways to engagement farm. Like to each their own. Like this is another way you can do it. You can basically turn your entire timeline into a Kaido billboard, and you become a volume shooter, and you farm with AI and engagement hacks, and you join all the Yarm communities, right? Like this post, by the way, I took this like hours after they launched and already had nearly 1,000 members in 3 different sub communities, right? That's one way to do InfoFi. That's not how I do it. But I'm not hating on Fier for, that's how he's playing the game and doing well. Another is like Chill Pill. You can join a community and you can volume shoot. Like Chill Pill, it's not as much as Fiar. Like he intertwines different things, but Joe Pill's a volume shooter, and he's going to tag and mention Yarm a lot over the course of the next couple of weeks. And he's also actually, I think he's going to mint a project soon where it's going to be like a Kaido school in a sense. So could be something there to pay attention to. And then the last but not least, and this is probably my favorite, is actually educate. Like, people complain about all the content is crap on the timeline. I saw this post. It educated me. I learned that Yarm wasn't allegedly not just another Yapyo that's a meme token with nothing there. It's not just another tool. They're aligning yapping and liquidity, and mitosis is part of this. Mitosis is essentially a liquidity protocol. This is one of the founders of mitosis, basically bull posting. He's like, they're roasting the Yapyo copy pasta meta, stitching real tech and building real products to tell a story a community can root for. No deckware, just shipping. If you want the skinny on what we've discussed, reply with a G Yarm, and then I'll share the notes. I did respectfully ask G Yarm if we can not do the G Yarm this time. I think that's, anyways. So you're going to see more of this. It's the next big hyped. You can see here's the Yarm powered by Kaido and mitosis. Maybe nothing comes of it, but this is not just a meme coin. They're going to use attention. Allegedly, there's no token even, but they're going to use attention to drive, to acquire customers, to get new users. And I think just we'll continue to see this evolution. Anyways, the other thing that was also came out yesterday was Addicted.fun. Did you see this?
Yeah, it's like the drug wars game from calculators, but I haven't jumped into it, but looks like it might be kind of fun.
Maybe, I don't know. It did give me nostalgia because if you're old like Steve and I, you played Drug Wars on a TI-83 calculator as a graphing calculator. Might have been the only. I mean, there was other games. It's the only one I can remember on the graphing calculator because it was the GOAT game on the TI-83. There's been other Dope Wars, I think, was on maybe PC, and there's been other iterations, other derivatives of Drug Wars, but the Drug Wars OG on the TI-83 was the best. I said, hey, if I'm surprised that we haven't really seen a Drug Wars on chain yet, and if that's what they're building, maybe there's something there. They got a lot of signups. They're getting support from Solana Foundation. Totally tweeted about it a few times. The first phase is closed, but they said they're going to reopen it up. I have a few invites if anyone wants. I dropped a code in there. It's probably been used, but just DM me if you want another invite. I think I have 4 or 5 left. Maybe nothing comes this. I don't know, but I do believe more on-chain protocols, more on-chain games, more on-chain dApps that are novel, like Clutch Market, where I can go place parlays on prediction markets. It may not be something that's going to moon and bring on 1 million users overnight. By the way, we should also give credit to Abstract for onboarding another 75,000 wallets with their F1 poster over the weekend. The question I had, then what, right? You get these people, they collect the digital collectible. Now what? I believe the overwhelming majority of people that collect one of these racing posters, whether it's the Alpine poster on ApeChain or the F1 with Abstract, they're not going to start trading perps. They're not going to go start buying Pump.fun shitters. I don't think. Maybe some of them will. I just do not see that as a natural progression at all. However, they may play Drug Wars on chain. They may bet a prediction market, a parlay on a prediction market like Clutch Markets. More stuff on chain that is better than the off-chain counterpart. It's not going to happen overnight, but I think what is Solana after in the world, the hypothetical world where they lose Pump.fun and Bonk? Well, they gotta have this. They have to have more than just the DGen casino. And I think that's goes for all, maybe not all chains, but I think most chains, more stuff like this. That's not just another art PFP collection. It's not just another DEX, but think about that. If Base succeeds and they onboard 1 billion users, what the hell are they going to do? They're not trading perps. They're not buying our NFT bags. I really feel strongly about that. We need more stuff for them to do. And you may think a drug trading game is it, Chris? Listen, I'm not promoting drug trafficking at all. Live in a legal state and buy a card and don't do that. It's not condoned. It's a video game though. You also shouldn't shoot people, but you can do that in video games. It's a game. People play this stuff. Mobile games, simple, easy to use games work. And don't just bring a game on chain because you want to put it on chain. What can the tech unlock? What can it enable that you can't do off chain? What can it enable that you haven't been able to do previously? Before Clutch Market, you couldn't place a parlay on Poly Market. Now you can. Like, that's cool. And I know I've kind of foreshadowed a little bit. We are going to be talking more. By the way, Caps Clutch Market parlay today. We missed by a run last night. I went Rangers and who was the second half? Anyways, the last game hit. The Rangers lost by 1, so we just missed our Clutch Market parlay of the day. But we will be firing again today. Good MLB say feeling good. Going to get back, starting up a new winning streak today. So stay tuned tomorrow. We'll be giving away another, hopefully another NFT to cash out. But I'll end my rant there, Steve. I know we went way too long, but it doesn't have to be for you. Yarm doesn't have to be for you. Maybe what they're building doesn't work. If you want to mute it now and not see a cluttered timeline, do you? I just think that in a world where we continually see iterations and evolutions, like, it's worth at least paying attention to this stuff. Maybe it inspires the next thing that you can build that gives people something fun to do on chain. I don't want to just complain about, oh man, no one's coming on chain to buy meme coins or buy our overpriced JPEGs. Okay, what are they going to do? And how can we be part of that solution? And I'm not the dev, but I'll encourage people that are building fun games that tap into my nostalgia that, hey, there's probably other people that played Drug Wars on the TI-83 calculator that if there was some incentives and some reason to play it on chain, it's not going to be something they're going to dedicate their life to, but you might onboard that user who just bought a racing poster over the weekend.
Yeah, I think this is part. So, like, similarly speaking, I don't know if, like, I mean, we'll fly over these and maybe we'll discuss these tomorrow. There's a K-pop band that signed with Abstract. Like, that's massive. They're doing collecting on that. Like, that's what brings people on chain. They don't have it, but, like, I'll give you an example. This isn't what came on chain. It was like some K-pop band I hadn't heard of. I know Finn shared it, but they're a good one. My daughter is watching.
You don't know every K-pop band, Steve? Slip it, man.
I know more than I should nowadays. My daughter is watching a show right now that is uber popular called, I think it's called K-pop Demon Hunters or something. And it's literally like a K-pop dubbed over song. All the kids are obsessed with it that are her age. Like, all these kids are obsessed with it.
You could have asked me what the new K-pop show is, and I probably could have guessed a million things, and I would have not landed on Demon Hunter.
Well, it opens to a lot of dad jokes. Like, I could ask my daughter if she's watching like Pop-Tart Zombie Hunters. I could watch, like, there's a lot of things you can get into with that one. Like Pop Mart, Labubu Hunters. Like, you can make a lot of jokes. But like, if Abstract did a collaboration with K-pop Demon Hunters, I'm giving an example, or K-pop, yeah, I think it's K-pop Demon Hunters. You have to look it up. Anyway, my daughter would want to buy an Abstract Chain NFT. She wouldn't think twice about it. She would want to do it. Her friends would say, yes, I want to do it. Like, there's, I'm sure it's K-pop and not anime Demon Hunters. Yeah, no, K-pop Demon Hunters. It's like it is an anime and it is K-pop, and there is one male K-pop band in there. Then there's some K-pop stars in there. It's like, if that comes on chain, my daughter's gonna want to play the game or buy the thing, not because it's her favorite IP, right? And she likes it right now. And I think that these things are like, these are like the opportunities. F1. That, like, we talk about like the different like AVAX working with like basketball teams to try to build loyalty programs, VFriends with gated drops and stickers that are selling to other people. Like, all of these things are real, and it's like, what can the blockchain do? I feel like I was taking crazy pills a few years ago. Now I feel a little bit more solid that it's playing out thesis wise. It took longer than I thought. But, and it's funny, like, Zane, I'll give him credit because it's funny. Zane in the Worm said K-pop Demon Hunter sounds like a 2021 PFP collection. True. So there's that. I thought was interesting just seeing them doing an anime thing. Second, Spotty Wi-Fi sold his ape. I don't know if you saw that. Spotty Wi-Fi's ape sold for 5:10 a.m. this morning for 12.5 ETH. Cheetah Gang, one of the elite apes from the original thing. So end of an era there. Dim shared that.
I thought he sold out, honestly. I didn't realize he was holding it. I had no idea. I thought,
yeah. So it's yeah, man, it's an interesting time. I think we're seeing the pivot into real businesses and real building. And it's like, Ape Chain doing F1 stuff, Abstract doing F1 stuff. That's good. That's the direction you need to go if you want to start moving the needle forward.
Agreed. Rear Ed asks, check his timeline and how to improve farming posts. I'm not good at the farming post either. Most of my posts don't get any sort of run at all. My recommendation, if you really want to get after it, would be spend some time, follow top yappers, pay attention, look at the leaderboards. People, some of the ones I mentioned, Chill Pill or even Farrar, they will engage back with you. And so what I would recommend after you do your post, that's like step 1. Step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 is when you see someone else that's a high profile yapper, comment, post your post in the comments, and you'll start indexing, you'll start being seen by people who are deep in the ecosystem. I'm not saying 3,3 it, but that would be like my simplest. Forget the what you're saying for a minute and how you're saying it, like the strategy to get it seen more, especially he says for a smaller account, super hard to get impression for a smaller account. Reply guy it. So comment, join the conversations when others are talking about whatever topic you're talking about, and then drop your. It's part of like a natural conversation. Like you can reply, either agree or disagree with something they said, and then I go further on here in this post. And it's a grind. Like it'll take a while to build up as a small account. The other suggestion I would say is if you're not following Mackie, I think Mackie has done a phenomenal job, a phenomenal focus job with intent. He is got on, he's focusing on Mega ETH. Not that he's not talking about others, but that's clearly his focus. He's doing very well, and I think he's going to be rewarded very handsomely when that thing goes live. So follow someone like Mackie, who's not the smallest account, not the largest account, but does a good job with thoughtful content, and then he works the content, right? So I think for smaller accounts, the quickest way to growth hack yourself into more impressions, more yaps is really hitting the reply gal game hard. Sometimes it's just joining the conversation so you can engage those individuals. And if high influential accounts start engaging with you, it's more likely they follow you. It's more likely they see your tweets. And then the second hack to that would just be make sure you're posting your, the thing I pin mine up top. Versus pinning it up top, I'd be far better off to go and copy paste that and pin it in a Chill Pill conversation about Yarm or something, like here's my thoughts on a way. Like I'm not working it like that, right? I've chosen like the active passive route for InfoFi. I'll talk about things I enjoy. I'm just not actively like hardcore grinding it. I probably should, right? I know I'm leaving money on the table, and maybe just even sharing this with you probably encouraged me to work my post a little harder, especially when they get like, I'll be honest, like I'm adamantly against, like we got in a fight over the weekend about, I'm really upset some people. We didn't even talk about the group chat, Steve, but I upset some people about, don't share your post and your spaces links in every group chat. It's annoying on X. And partly it's an X thing. It's an X group chat because I miss so many DMs because I win way too many group chats. Anyways, I digress. I will share, if I get a post that's nerfed, I share it in the war room. And I ask, hey, this got nerfed, and would appreciate any love. I don't like, there's some people, does that annoy some people? Maybe, because it annoys me when people do it, but I do my best not to abuse it. I don't do it on InfoFi farms. It's just for this space. Usually about the only thing I will post is like the carousel, because it's important for us. I want to get the reminders out there. And so if I post a carousel and it gets nerfed, I'll ask for some help on that. That's one way to do it. But I think probably the more proper way is just working your post after you post it, then drop it in several other conversations that are getting a lot of impressions. Steve, any other thoughts? You're better at the reply, way better at the reply game than I, but you actually do what I just said. You walk the walk.
I do. I don't know. I don't do a good job of it. I just do. So like, I don't really think about it. Like if I think it makes sense to put something in a reply, if I just had a thought on it, I do. I'll reply to every reply in your replies. Like when people reply to you, even if they're AI bots, give them an answer. It helps. I have noticed a higher reach when I quote tweet lately, which was the opposite up until recently. I've been quote tweeting.
Really? So I should stop taking pictures and tweeting it. You're seeing better off to actually do the quote tweet now. That's new.
It used to be the picture, the screenshot. I did this by accident, but I realized in the past probably 3 months recently, and then like I only realized the trend in the past couple of weeks, but I've noticed when I'm quote tweeting people, they tend to do pretty well, particularly on relevant topics, especially when I have a take.
Guess breaking news, Steve.
What's that?
Guess what the next OpenSea voyage is going to be?
I saw the Rally Chris Mattern thing. Is it related to that?
They just acquired Rally.
I saw that.
Kind of big news. No, I didn't. Did you have that on your bingo card this year?
I did not. I need to. I talked to Chris forever ago when I was like trying to figure out what to do with my life at one point. Had a good phone call
with Rally.
Yeah, Chris with Rally, who also, obviously previously like Floor and all that.
Oh! I didn't know that. I didn't know that Chris went to Rally. Are they still building Floor? Or was there an acquisition there or no?
No, that was Rally. Floor turned into Rally, and then they, were trying to make it more. So yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking the other Rally. My bad. Still cool. I was thinking Rally Road. The like where you own your dinosaur.
Different Rally. So Rally is Chris Mattern, formerly Floor. Looks like the big reason for the acquisition, if you're missing it. Let's kick this to tomorrow, only because the big reason for the acquisition is that I would assume this means OpenSea is going mobile. Is what this would be. Like, so instead of creating their own mobile app, they acquired Rally.
Today, the mobile app's actually pretty good, but it's just view only. You can't transact on it, right? Unless they change that.
My guess is that this is this is a move to drive into like a good mobile app is my guess. Like they're making a play at a good mobile app because that's sort of what Rally does really well. So like let's kick into tomorrow.
Like, mobile app and wallet. Like I just see here in Rally's, their bio leads with your wallet made social. Welcome to the new internet. So yeah, mobile app and their own wallet.
Did they say welcome to the internet? I thought that's what that was the Coinbase thing.
That's just Rally's bio.
Oh, maybe that's Rally's bio actually. Maybe I'm mixing the two up. But yeah, so I think like I saw this, I was gonna wait on it and kind of wait to comment, but my thought is like,
sorry, didn't mean to front run you. I have no idea. I saw the.
No, it's not a front run. Yeah, no, not a front run at all. It just came out and I saw Chris. I saw Chris tweet about it and he's becoming CTO at OpenSea. So I'm trying to unpack all of it. So Chris taking over CTO. Yeah.
It's a big app. Acquihire, mobile app, mobile wallet. OpenSea make a move.
So Chris CTO OpenSea, Acquihire, and going mobile. It's like a big bundle of news in one.
Probably actually makes a hell of a lot more sense than in acquiring Rally Road.
Yeah, unless they wanted to.
Where is it? Like, what is happening? How is that? They
really wanted to get those flat copies of the Declaration of Independence and deeten the Triceratops skull. That's why. Yeah, no, different deal. So yeah, but yeah, interesting stuff. I'm gonna digest on that one because that's the type of news I care about. Like
you want to see. I mean, I'm happy to as well, but you want to reach out to Adam or Chris and see if they want to come on tomorrow and talk about it.
Yeah, let me see if I can get. I'll try Chris. Chris would be the right guy there. I'll try Chris, and if I don't have any luck there,
we've connected too. I can take a shot, but yeah, just let me know how it goes, and we may have a new guest tomorrow, impromptu.
Cool, we shall see. I will reach out and see what we can do there. But yeah, massive news. Very cool.
Congrats to Chris. That's exciting. It's awesome. We were like beta testers of the Floor app. It's amazing. Like the Floor app, like. This is what gets me excited as a business builder, and I appreciate businesses being built. I appreciate pivots. I appreciate founders not giving up. Floor app was created. They weren't first to market. I'm actually drawing a blank on what we used at that time. What was the main site we went to? It was a long domain. It was just web-based only. Do you remember? This is where basically our NFT portfolio. It would show like the daily changes and.
Are you talking? You're not talking about the Floor app specifically?
Before Floor app, there was another website that we used this for. It was like the leader. Like I used it like during the bull. I had the tab open every day, all day. It was like a long, funny name as a website. The founder is based out of Cincinnati. Someone has to know what I'm talking about.
Long, funny name. Because there's like NFT floors, but that's not it.
No. Wag me something, maybe. Anyways, there was basically your NFT portfolio tracker. It was a website that was out. It was used predominantly throughout the space. It was my number one resource in terms of managing my NFT portfolio. Floor came after the fact, shipped mobile. It was just an NFT portfolio tracker and just kept building. Chris built, he pivoted, he changed the name, he rebranded. And the other one, I can't even remember the name of. I haven't accessed it for probably 3 years. Was first to market, was the product I used more than Floor. And they're basically, dead for all intents and purposes. And here, Chris just got acquired by OpenSea because he didn't give up. He kept building, he kept pivoting. He kept making changes, kept doing new things until he found product market fit and ultimately led to an acquisition. So congratulations. Love to see it.
Like seeing the space consolidating with great builders and great people. It's cool being part of the history too and knowing like where things came from. Like Floor became Rally, became acquisition.
It's gonna drive me nuts. I'm gonna spit it out like Tourette's later today if I don't think about what this website was called.
Yeah, you got to get it for me later. I don't remember it though off the top of my head, but
WGMI.io. I was right. It was WGMI.io.
I never used it.
Really?
Never used it. Yeah, never used it. So I don't know.
I'm afraid to connect my wallet because last time I looked at it, it was a much, much, much higher portfolio value than it is today. Anyways, I digress. Good show today. We weren't way too long. We thought we'd have a cold open talking about sweating and turning off our monkey brains, but maybe we'll talk sauna stories tomorrow. Oh, Steve froze. Oh, geesh. Well, that's one way to.
I may have just lost my internet. I'm not sure. I'm on mobile now.
Yeah, you did. You're frozen on the screen, but I can hear you on mobile. Do you just want to send us off, and I'll play out the outro? If you're on mobile.
Yeah, let's do that. I don't know if you can hear me because I'm switching off. I'm switching off devices. Everybody, bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.